Hello, hello. Hello, Romani. Ah, all right. I promised it, you paid for it. This is the Magi-Nation Trader's Reach unboxing stream. Time for cardboard crack. Yeah, yeah. I've been pretty careful throughout my life not to get into this sort of thing again, because I was way too into the Pokemon TCG when I was in middle school. And just after high school, I got really into the blind boxes of the Wizards of the Coast official D&D miniatures. I didn't have any money to spend on Pokemon cards at that age, but I spent way too much on minis. I do still get use out of them, so it's at least there's that. But I am definitely susceptible to this sort of thing. But it's okay, because Magi-Nation is defunct. That makes it that makes it safe, right? It's safe to to buy 27 deck boxes, Magi-Nation cards. All right. So for anybody who is watching and doesn't know what's going on, about a year ago, well, no, let's go even further back. In the late 90s, the Pokemon TCG was in full swing. Magic the Gathering, uh, it's been around for a long time, still printing money for Wizards of the Coast. Uh, when a new game came onto the scene, Magi-Nation, which specifically aimed to sort of bridge the age gap between the Pokemon kiddies and the MTG uh, sweaty ass adults. And so a company named Interactive Imagination uh, came out with their game. They printed, what is it, 5 sets? Number brain doesn't work right. Yeah, they printed 5 sets of Magi-Nation cards. They made a Game Boy Color game. Well, you may have heard some of the music playing in the pre-roll. They were working on an animated series, and then they ran out of money, and and that was that. They did eventually release the animated series. It was originally planned as a CGI series, and it got turned into traditional 2D animation, uh, and it was bad. Certainly, it wasn't the show that fans of the original card game or Game Boy game were interested in. And since then, the game has sort of resurfaced a few times on different uh, digital tabletops. Oh, there was like an MMO thing that they had an alpha of. That never went anywhere. Second existing plan for an anime, perhaps? Maybe. I really don't know. I just get just so full of rage whenever I look at anything to do with the TV show. It's not my Magi-Nation. We'll leave it at that. Because I already did a whole previous stream talking about this stuff. But, like I said, 5 sets of trading cards. There was a 6th set where they had all the art, they had all the cards, everything ready to go, ready to print, but never made it there. And last year they ran a Kickstarter. Let's get the 6th set of Magi-Nation, Trader's Reach, printed and shipped to all of the dedicated fans who still love the game even all these years later. And there's like a decent number. It's kind of a cult classic series. And, I found this after the Kickstarter had already succeeded, but while they were still taking backer kit orders for latecomers. And I thought to myself, man, I could easily drop $300 on this. But, like I said, I try not to get into this sort of thing, save myself the money. So instead I asked you to pay for it, and you delivered. I ran a little fundraiser, a much more selfish one than the one that I was in a couple weeks ago. And I said, hey, look, give me money, I will draw you bonus panels, bonus comics, and if I get enough, I will get a whole bunch of these Magi-Nation cards. And I will open them on stream so that you can see all the things. And you did, and now I will. I also have mentioned on Discord and Blue Sky that I've got a couple of surprises to spring on you. I have a grand total of 3 surprises, one of which is just for me. It's 2 surprises, really. So we'll space those out throughout the stream, starting with the first one. So, I mentioned that I was participating in a different fundraiser a couple weeks ago, Pixels for Palestine, raising money for the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, who provide all kinds of support to children in Palestine. Current project, I have been told, is attempting to build a new hospital. I and several other streamers, organized by PixExe, did a full week of streams and art raffles and all kinds of fun stuff in order to raise money. I put the word out to you guys, and once again, you absolutely delivered. I'm immensely proud of this community. the goal was $2,500 by the end of the total fundraiser, which is today. At the end of that week of streaming events and raffles, we hit 2,000 even, which incidentally was the doing of someone in this community. You know who you are, I know who you are. Better be taking care of yourself is all I have to say about it. Other than thank you. But I just got the news yesterday that a couple of other artists were running some extra events, after hours, and they managed to push it to the 2.5. We got an extra $200 after the main event had ended. So that has been fully successful. Awesome. Thank you again to everybody who was able to donate. And because of the generosity of my readers, fans in particular, my community, I said that I was going to count up the donations of everybody whose name I recognized on the list as being part of this community, and I was going to count that towards my next Ko-fi goal, where I draw bonus panel, bonus comic, and that I would draw one just free, just as a thank you, and I finished it. So let me get my Ugly Mug out of here for a second. What you're seeing on screen right now is one of the drawings that I made as a thank you for the Magi-Nation fundraiser, which was purely for my benefit, almost a year ago now. I've been using it as like a chat room backdrop because I'm just proud of how it turned out. And, since I was going to be drawing a thank you of some sort, and since my package arrived, I got the card sitting on the floor right next to me, I thought, sequel. Let's do the sequel. And I did. So in the first image, we had Ricky come out and Macadamia just chillin' in the Moonlands, which is the setting of Magi-Nation. For this one, we've got Lok, Batania, and Coxex, who have gone to the core of the Moonlands, which is where all the evil is. And there they are exploring with some of their dream creatures. Bone Hiren? Oh, I see you've noticed that several core creatures have themselves taken notice of the group. From left to right, our characters Coxex as a Daresh Magi, that's the desert region of the Moonlands, with a Bone Grag creature. There's a few skeletal creatures in Daresh, seemed like a good fit. And also wielding a couple of Daresh relics. Specifically, they've got the Dune Compass and the Lens of Truth, not the Zelda one. It's a different one. This one's wrist mounted. Also, all three of these cards, the Bone Grag, the Lens, and the Compass, are all Oracle cards. There are 7 Oracle cards in the whole game, and if you get all of them in play at the same time, then you just win. You defeat one enemy Magi every turn. Now, one of those cards is a Magi, so Coccyx presumably does not have the instant win button. But maybe they can do something else with Oracle cards. Last time I ended up making some Dungeon Eyes Magi-Nation cards just for fun. Maybe I'll do it again. Who knows? In the center, at the back of the line here, we've got Botania as a Paradwin Magi. That is the jungle region. Paradan Magi have green skin and uh, wear flowers in their hair and plants for clothing, so I didn't have to do much. But I did go ahead and add the fur boots and gloves that so many of them wear, and the tail hanging off of the belt. And I tied her leaf hair back just to do something different, and honestly, it's a good look. I like it. And Botania's creature in the background there is a Magor, which I chose for obvious visual reasons. I truly can't say if this creature was the visual inspiration for Botania's fly traps, because those fly traps first appeared in a clan forum thing many years ago. So too far back for me to say for sure whether I looked at this creature and I said, "Oh yeah, I want to make a version of that," or if it's just, this is what cartoon fly traps look like. And then we have Loke as a Narum Magi. Narum is the forest region. Yes, there's a forest region and a jungle region. They are different. Loke is using the Staff of Keepers as a walking stick. And her creatures are a pair of Weebos following along on the ground, and also a flying Hinko, sort of zooming overhead. She has a flying Hinko because it is a creature that benefits Narumi's spellcasters. Gives you a little buff to your healing spells. And she's got two Weebos because they are famously edible. Seemed like a good fit to me. So yeah, I will be posting this image on Blue Sky and Discord and on Ko-fi. So you can get a better look at it. And like I did last time, I will also do a full breakdown on Blue Sky where I post the original cards that I was uh, taking the monster designs from, including all of the core monsters in the background. Pretty happy with how it turned out. Botania looks cool as hell. I am kind of fond of that look on Botania, I have to say. Four tiny monsters in the background on the far left. You do. Keep an eye on Blue Sky. That's where I'll be posting the full breakdown. This illustration. But for now, let's get on to the main event. Right. I am with my camera set up on the desk. This is a camera suspended from a desk lamp. Doesn't Magi-Nation require a different avatar? You're trying to get me to put on my wizard, aren't you? There. I'm a wizard now. This what you wanted? Well, I'm not keeping it on because that's... There. I have to reach under the camera to switch those. I do not have a lot of desk space. I was hoping by now that I would have a new desk set up, but the new bed was more expensive than I thought it was going to be. Alright. Here's the box. You can see all these lovely unopened boxes of cards. I'll just grab one at random here. The shine is terrible. I'm going to do my best with that, but we'll just have to see. Focus is bad. Yeah, but the reason it's so dang shiny is because they're encased in plastic. None of these have been opened. And I do also have surprise number 2. What could this be? We'll find out what that is later. And I also have an old deck box, Voice of the Storms. That's the 5th thing. And this is simply full of card sleeves for any real keepers that I find, and fresh box to keep everything in. Alright, I think that covers all of the lead up necessary, and probably a little more than anything. I'm going to get started. I'm going to open these in no particular order. Just going to go one at a time. There are 27 deck boxes. I actually can't recall how they said they were doing this one. What they've done in the past is a box of, I think, 50 cards, which includes 3 Magi, a set list of cards that are either from the region on the box or which are universal relics and spells and things that anybody can use, as well as a random assortment of cards to just kind of fill out the roster. I think that if you got really unlucky with those random cards, you might actually not get a legal Magi-Nation deck, because if you get extra Magi cards such that you have only 39 creatures, relic, spells, it's not a legal deck. You need at least 40. Don't forget to take a break and get water. I got water right next to me. Hear it. Uh, and it was even more likely that you would get a random assortment of cards that, although a legal deck, was not uh, good, because there are uh, penalties for playing cards different from your Magi's region. Plus just the fact that it's a random assortment. It's not good. That's not a built deck, but that's just to encourage you to buy more than one, you know. So, all right. This is a Bograth starter death. Bograth. Yes, it's Bograth. It's a bog. It's really not going to focus any better than that, but if I put it flat and tilt it slightly, I think it's readable. Each deck box has a different little blurb on the back. Magi-Nation Duel is a strategy game of powerful magi, dream creatures, spells, and magical relics. Give your enemies a sinking feeling. Fetid waters and swarming pests may seem a trifle, but those small cuts add up. Why waste your precious energy when you could make them waste theirs? Foes are easy pickings when they're too weak to pull free from the muck. Sort of giving you the gist of Bograth's strategy of a whole bunch of little weak creatures. Okay, so there is like clearly a pull strip. Here we go. I'm trying to get it started. There. Eh, eh. Can I get the rest of the plastic off? Ah! Ooh, exciting, exciting. Okay, what's this? This is a little credits card. Looks like, I mean, it makes sense that they're crediting all the original artists because a lot of these cards are reprints, you know? But some of these cards are also new, so I'm interested to see on that respect. And Arcanist's Armory, don't know if you can read that. Arcanist's Armory is where you can go if you want to get some Magi-Nation cards for yourself. It's where they are selling anything that they didn't already ship out to Kickstarter backers. And they've got some old original prints as well. So that's pretty cool. Oh, it looks like they included the full rules of the game across 6 cards? Oh, what's this? QR code with the full rules? Pretty neat. Um, Other than the fact that I'm going to have 27 sets of these. Well, I will keep one set. Now then, on to the main course. Same original card back. which is two Hirons, which are dragon-like dream creatures, sort of intertwined. Alright, let's see what we got. I don't know if I'm going to read all of these off, because many of them are existing cards that you can find easily if you go looking for a list online. Well, less easily than you used to. Blue Furok went down a while ago. That was the website that all the fans were upkeeping, but that shit ain't free. We got Brog, Swamp Thug. This is a Magi card. Try to keep in camera here while also still being able to see. Bulomp. Bulomp. There's no pronunciation guide to these. I'll just try to hold them steady so that you can spend enough time looking at the beautiful artwork that you can hopefully get the gist of what's going on. Third Magi, Wilp. How do these guys rate as an actual trio of Magi? Frog. Intimidation power. Discard one of your creatures from play. Choose an opposing creature, move half of its energy rounded up to Brog's Swamp Thug. That's pretty strong. So there's your fighter, although his energize is a little bit low. Glomp. Effect Shiftier. Your creatures lose no energy from opposing effects. Useful when it comes up, certainly, but not universal. Wilp. Power Plague. Choose a creature type. All creatures of the chosen type lose 2 energy. Interesting. So a creature type would be based on the name of a creature. So here, our first creature card that we've got, Green Stuff, which is one of my favorite Bograth cards. Costs literally nothing to play. There's a 0 there. I don't know if you can see it. To be punished. There's nothing that I can really do to make the light any dimmer so that it would be glaring so hard. Anyway, cost 0, has an energize rate of 1, so if it's still alive at the start of your next turn, it just gets 1 energy, and it gets 1 free energy when you play it. So a creature type would be, in this case, Stuff. Because, for example, the starting cards that you get to pull from your deck when you reveal this Magi. For Brog here, Black Stuff and Green Stuff. So that's 2 different creatures with the same word in their name. That is the creature type. There's a whole bunch of them. Hirons that I mentioned, who are on the card backs, tend to be very strong. Stuff, less so. Let's continue. So we have 3 green stuff. Okay, are these all just going to be organized in order? That is convenient for me, and I'm putting them away. Black stuff. This one costs 1. Effect Regenerate. At the beginning of your turn, if your Magi is Bograth, you may play 1 copy of black stuff from your discard pile, paying all costs. So even if they get rid of this one, you can just keep putting them back in. And then it only costs 1 energy, so it's real cheap. Bograth has tons of cheap creatures. That was the joke in the We'll Save World for Gold bonus comic. Ba, Weep, Grana, and Ninibomb are a reference to the universal greeting from the Transformers, which is usually rendered as Ba, Weep, Grana, Ninibomb. Yep. I'm familiar with that. I have run that deck before. 4 Magi for the price of 3. Makur. I think all 3 of these creatures were actually in the Will Save World for Gold bonus comic. It's on my Ko-fi if you want to go take a quick look at it to confirm. Two of these. So, presumably means that I'll find another one in one of the other boxes. Moss Pendant. This is a relic. You can tell by the different shaped border. Circle for Magi. Square for creature. Hexagon for relic. And spells have a swirly whirly. Got a Moss Troll. I remember this guy was definitely in the Will Save World for Gold comic. I remember trying to draw them arms and legs on a teeny tiny little pixel sprite. Muck Shovel. Another relic. Power Depression. Choose 2 Bograth creatures. Move up to 5 energy from one creature to the other creature. Harsh. We've got the Vanilla Trolb. Very cute, actually. So many Bograth cards are just grubby and cute. I really love their vibe. Creeping Anger. Flame Trolb. We got the whole Trolb family, I think. Mirago. This is a dual region card. You're seeing the Bograth variant of it here. But it is a Bograth / Duresh Dream creature, meaning that Duresh Magi can also play this at normal cost. Any other type of Magi would be paying a penalty. And usually on dual region cards, the little flavor text at the bottom is different for each region. This one says, with this guy, knowledge is power. What is that a reference to? Effect Extra Focus. When you play a creature from your hand, you may discard a Bograth or Duresh card from your hand to add 2 additional energy to that creature. Neat. If you have good card draw with Bograth, then you can also do a lot of effects. Here's the spell swirly whirly border that I was talking about. Mud Bubble. Choose a Bograth creature in your discard pile. Place that creature in your hand. Play 1 or more copies of that creature this turn. Draw a card at the end of your turn. So for 2 energy, you can pull one of your Bograth creatures out of your discard. And if you then play it, extra card. Pretty good. Ooze Arball. If I recall correctly, this is the one that Arden smashes with a hammer at the very start of the comic. Thank you for linking it, Romani. Arball is another very common creature type. I believe it's the most populous creature type other than Hiron. It's weird that Hirons, like the legendary monsters, are the most populous. Now we have a Rot Arball. I love the art on this one. Oh, you can't see it very well. I apologize for the camera. This is what I've got to work with. But it's like a very tangled green root of a creature. Trolb Bracelet. Okay, so here we have a relic that interacts with all those Trolbs that I just found. Power Sweet Sorrow, free to use. Discard one of your Trolbs from play. Draw a number of cards equal to the Trolb's printed starting energy +1. Damn, that's good card draw, actually. And it's pretty too, is the flavor text. Let's go back and look at some of them Trolbs. Where are ya? 2 energy on the Flame Trolb. 1 on the Vanilla. 1 on the Moss Trolb. So that's not a huge amount of card draw, but still pretty easy to get. Backup Bracelet. You can only have 1 copy of each relic in play. But But if a relic is really important to your strategy, then you still want to have 3 of them in your deck if possible, or at least 2. Oh, and a spell, Trouble. Discard up to 4 Trolbs you control from play. Draw 2 cards for each Trolb you discarded. A Trolb deck. Just get your entire deck into your hand. There's no hand limit, so go for it. In the Swamps of Bograth, even the most meaningless creature serves a greater purpose. Again, harsh. Withertwee. This is like a Bograth variant of a Narum creature. Withertwee is defeated in an attack. Add 1 energy to each Bograth creature and draw a card. More card draw. So these Magi aren't particularly good with card draw, but it seems like we've got a lot of it in the other cards in this deck. This is pretty well built. Happy to see it. Frenzy spell costs 3. If you have at least 3 Bograth creatures in play, add 2 energy to each creature in play. Each creature in play, that includes your opponent. So Frenzy is maybe best used after you've already attacked and cleared your enemy's board. And finally we have Crushing Stench. Every region has its own Crush spell. They all cost 4 energy, and they all give you a bonus effect if you manage to defeat a creature with it. Bograth. This is tiny, tiny text. If the chosen creature is discarded from play, play a Bograth creature from your hand with 2 energy instead of its starting energy. That creature cannot attack this turn. But you don't have to pay for that, so that's 2 free energy. Sneeze. Ugh. Better. Managed to turn away from my brand new, very expensive trading cards. That's a good deck. If these are actually so well organized, I'm tempted to keep them each in their individual boxes. Yeah, I think I'll do that actually. Can sort them out another time. Actually, one more thing I want to do is I'll just straight up count here. So there's your 3 Magi. 1, 2, 6, 7, 10, 12, 15, 16, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 26, 27, 29, 32, 36, 37, 46 cards plus 3 Magi. So that's a legal deck, and a few extras. And I don't think any of those were random. So I guess they did just construct the decks such that, you know, they're all put together, and if you get all the decks, you get all the cards. Neat! Alright, moving on. I believe I've got 2 of every region. And extra core, extra under. I'm gonna just keep moving down the line. What did I just grab? The Arothi deck, or an Arothi deck. The lost secrets of the Moonlands are your bounty to claim in the deeps of Arothi. Call upon abyssal dream creatures to shift the tides in your favor. With leviathans poised to safeguard your booty, plunder your foes, and sink them with oceanic might. Did a good job of hyping up the deck. Give him that. I have a wastebasket full of plastic wrapping. Oh god. Static cling! Never mind, I'm gonna just have a glove made out of plastic wrapping. Get out of here. You know what? I don't need to take this plastic off this part. We got the same 6 rules cards. We'll just keep piling those up in the box. And let's see who we got in Arothi. We got Jame, who is like an octopus guy. Pretty cool. Crushing Darkness, Crushing Fungus, Crushing Heat, all from Nightmare's Dawn. Well, Nightmare's Dawn is where they were introduced. There were more regions after that, so there's more. Roots, not Toots. Now, crushing Toots, you're getting that confused with the Bograth Crushing Stench. Alright, Jame, you may not play more than 2 relics per turn. Interesting. Arothi is like the relic region, so that's a limit. Effect Guardian, after an opposing card discards one of the relics from play, they remove energy from Jame to return the relic to their owner's hands. Alright, so you can't play that many relics, or you're somewhat limited in playing relics, but you have a way to keep them in play. Celia, Power Whirlpool, choose a non-Magi card of more than 1 region, discard it from play. Interesting. There's so many dual region cards. That's actually a fairly powerful effect. Bria or Bria, Relic Hunter. This is an alternate Magi, meaning that a different version of Bria was printed previously, I think in the original Unlimited set. And basically what that means is there's 2 different versions of the same character. Can't have both versions in the same deck. With like a couple exceptions. There's Quaid and the real Quaid. What's her power? Starts with 1 core relic, 1 Arothi relic. And she can play core relics, so that's pretty strong. Core cards usually not available to Magi of other regions. Effect Desire, after an opponent plays a relic, add 3 energy. Okay, that's a lot. Effect Loss, after a relic you control is discarded from play, remove 1 energy. Oof. Okay, Abaquist. So this is an unlimited base set card that's getting reprinted. I assume with updated rules text. because I see that it's got the 0 cost icon, which you can't see, I'm sure. Whereas if a power didn't cost any energy, it used to just be blank. But they introduced the 0 there because there's a whole bunch of cards that like increase or decrease or work off of the cost of a power, so they wanted to make it clear. Barqua's Bubble. There's a Weebo. I drew them. Orothi Relic, effect cover. As one of your creatures in play would be affected by an opposing spell or power, you may shuffle Barqua's Bubble into your deck and remove 1 energy from your Magi. If you do, the creature is unaffected. Neat. Oh, here we go. The big boy. The biggest boy. Caw. 15 energy, which is the highest in the game, tied with the Mist Hyren, who was in the comic I made. Let's read through this teeny tiny text here. Effect Fearsome. Caw loses 3 less energy in attacks. Other cards cannot prevent Caw from losing energy. Effect. This effect doesn't even have a name, which interacts with another certain card that can shut down effects of a certain name. So if it has no name, it can't be shut down. If Caw is discarded or returned to your hand by an opposing card while it has energy, remove 6 energy from Caw instead. Opposing cards cannot make Caw change controllers. And another effect, Caw can only be played during the play creature step. You cannot play creatures while Caw is in play, and you cannot play Caw if you have other creatures in play. Flavor text, on a scale of 1 to 10, there is no number large enough. So in the art, you can see that it's like kind of a crab thing. I need a pointer here. Right there above its head, you can see that there's a little separate shape that's kind of looking at. That is a giant sea turtle with a castle on its back that people live on. So this is like straight up kaiju territory that we're talking about here. I consider any creature of 10 or more energy to be like basically a giant kaiju that you summon. But Caw is really... Oh, there's 2 of them. Why would you need 2? Just an incredible fuck you to the opponent, I guess. If you manage to get a Caw onto the board and then keep it around long enough that your Magi's got some energy, then just play a second one. Demoralize me, I know that. Dream Bomb, Universal Relic. This is another reprint of an earlier card. A lot of Universal Relics cost 0 to play, and then you just discard them when you use their power. I don't know why they're not just spells, that being the case. We got a Grotto Frup. I don't know who came up with all these names. It's like a nautilus with glowing tentacles. Horn of Renewal. Some lovely Matt Holmberg art. Matt Holmberg is like the Magi-Nation artist. Certainly as far as the fans are concerned, I think. All the artists ended up pretty good. Like, when they started, all of them were kind of rough. But, you know, after drawing a couple of hundred cards, plus promotional materials, you get good. What does Horn of Renewal do? Power Salvage, cost 0. Each player chooses up to 4 non-universal relics in their discard pile. Shuffle those relics into their owner's decks. Discard Horn of Renewal. So it's definitely a relic deck, which most Orothi decks are. Hubdra's Chest, cost 2. Effect Lockbox. When an opponent chooses one of your relics for a spell, power, or effect, remove 1 energy from that player's Magi. Effect Safe Deposit. When your Magi is defeated, all of your other Orothi relics stay in play. So the chest goes away. I hear it's quite large. Chest. Freaking mermaid region. Yeah. Hubja's Cube. Our Relic Subversion. Choose any one other relic in play, gain control of the chosen relic, and place it on Hubja's Cube. You may not use this power if there is already a relic on Hubja's Cube. If Hubja's Cube leaves play, discard all relics on it. The flavor text, he drew his sword and said, "Take this," so I did. You can see, maybe you can see, inside the cube there is a sword. Malevolent Corph, a sort of crab or lobster-like creature. Orathan, another Gen 1. It's just a big whale. Effect Engulf. If Orathan attacks a creature with less than 3 energy, add 2 energy to Orathan before energy is removed. So this is like the anti-Bogwrath creature. Because so many of them have only 1 energy, and if it's getting 2 energy every time it attacks, that's a net gain for the old Orathan. Orathan Amulet, an Orothi/Ardirial relic. It's dual region. Ardirial is the sky region because there are flying whales, such as the one that appears in this image. Effect Spray. At the end of your turn, add 1 energy to each of your Orathans in play. Again with the creature types. Power Pod, cost 1. Search your deck for an Orathan card. Place that card into your hand. Paraffin Shell? Got this Magi just like surfing across the water on a turtle shell, Mario style. Effect Hide. Once per turn, as a creature you control is being attacked, you may move that creature's energy to your Magi and shuffle the creature into its owner's deck. Add more than the creature's printed starting energy to your Magi. So basically you can use this like, well, I'm going to lose this creature, I may as well keep the energy. A lot of good relics. Ooh, we got ourselves a Hyren, the Pearl Hyren. I've seen the art of this one before. It's one of my favorites. It's just like the front half of a dragon coming out of a clamshell. It's great. So you'd want to kill the whale with a spell instead of a creature. Or with a bigger creature. Always an option, unless you're Bogwrath. Effect Horde. After an opponent chooses a relic you control with a spell or power, remove 1 energy from that opponent's Magi. So again, making it costly to target your relics. Power Jealousy. If you have at least 1 relic in play, choose an opponent. If that creature controls more relics than you, add 1 energy to each creature you control. Fun. Although I don't know how often that power would come up. That's like something for a new Magi that you just brought out to make use of. But I don't think Pearl Hyren is a starting card, so... we got a Porphin, which is a little fish with a big horn. Effect Bolster. As Porphin attacks, add energy to it equal to the number of relics you control. At the end of your attack step, discard Porphin from play. Whoa, poor little thing. So it's a one and done, but most creatures are anyway. Oh, flavor text. The Porphin is ugly, the Porphin is small, but with relics in play your foes will fall. Cute. Spell Possession's Glee. Add 3 energy to a creature you control but do not own. So this is if you are taking control of an opponent creature. Which you can only do with Orothi or with the core, which is like the token evil region. So it's Orothians, they need therapy, I tell you. Rip Curl, choose 2 opposing creatures, move up to 4 energy from the first creature to the second creature. So just an energy transfer. Sea Barrel, another early one. Power, costs 3. Lore, draw 2 cards. Ooh, and we got ourselves a core relic. This is one for Bria to play. Secrets of the Book. Power secrets. Choose any one opposing player. The chosen player reveals their hand to all players. Draw one card for each creature revealed, and one card for each non-creature Narum card revealed to a maximum of 4. Against a Narum Magi, that's very powerful. Got a 4 charm. More relics. We've got more relics than creatures in here. Choose a creature, discard an Orothi relic from your hand, remove energy from the chosen creature equal to the cost of the discarded relic. Submerge, another early spell. Choose any one Orothi creature in play, add 3 energy to the chosen creature. Just a high value heal. Vault of Knowledge key. Minuscule text. Can I even read this? Try to angle the. Yeah, it's almost impossible to see that art. But basically, you're looking at like a big door set into a wall, some steps leading up to it. Alright. Effect Animite Infusion. You can use all powers on your relics and play one additional time each turn. God damn. At the end of your turn, discard any relic that used a power more than once this turn. Effect Archive. Once per turn, when one of your relics discards itself from play, you may remove 1 energy from your Magi to discard one of your other relics from play instead. Interesting. So you would use the first effect to double up on one of your relics, and then the second effect to discard something worthless, like a universal relic. Like we had a bunch of Dream Bomb in here, didn't we? Yeah, those are barely worth playing. And a nameless effect. Vault of Knowledge key cannot be discarded from play by opposing cards that specifically discard relics from play, or cards cannot discard cards from opposing players' hands. Discard Vault of Knowledge key if your Magi is not from a Rothi. Oh, and we got Crushing Surf. Another of them crush spells. If this discards the chosen creature from play, choose any one of that player's relics and gain control of it. Dope. Fun relic deck. I drew Ricky as an Orothi Magi because of their loot goblin nature. Is that Shell Rider Okwa? She has text on the path and monster call. Not the Shell Rider. That was somebody else. I don't know who was on the Shell Rider card, but I know Okwa when I see her. Don't ask why. We got a Daresh deck coming up. Very cute monster. Warm winds are not always gentle. We of the sands are rarely what or when we seem. We slow our foes with a labyrinth of illusions, blast them with scouring wind, and leave them to bake in the merciless heat. So, this is Coccyx's region. So we'll get to see what that's all about. Could never really wrap my head around Daresh. They do a lot of fucky things with their cards. But thematically, they're sort of like about lost knowledge and prophecies, like the Oracle cards that I mentioned. Let go of your fingers, you goddamn piece of plastic. They also have access to illusion creatures, which are cheap to play, get bonus energy when you play them, but if all of your creatures are illusions, then they all get discarded. So you gotta be careful. Alright, who we got? I was just looking at these guys not too long ago while I was drawing that bonus panel. Nymat, Fresh Magi Artificer. Effect Sandstorm. After an opponent plays a creature with 6 or more energy, remove 2 energy from that creature. So that would be useful against Kaibar's Teeth. They're all about having big creatures. The biggest, ideally, because they get all kinds of benefits from it. Solara. Adept is her title. Some of them have titles. They don't mean anything. Usually. Unless they're an oracle. Effect Spellcraft. Once per turn, as an opponent plays a spell, choose an illusion in play and add 4 energy to it. So that's the special illusion creatures that I just mentioned. And Koramar Avatar. Alternate Koramar. Effect Dark Shield. Core creatures cost all players 1 extra energy to play. Brutal. If you happen to be playing against Core. Wisdom. Koramar Avatar's illusions may attack 1 extra time each turn. Damn. So this guy's got cool lore. He shows up in the Game Boy game as the boss of the 3rd Shadow Geyser. The Shadow Geysers are the dungeons. There's 5 of them in the game. Spoilers. And his original card in the Awakening set is a Core card. And he is a Duresh Shadow Magi. Shadow Magi are a special Core mechanic, which is a Core Magi that is able to play certain other cards from their original region, representing a Magi from the original region who got corrupted, as opposed to the pure Core Magi who are just goblins. So yeah, Koramar was an interesting card because he came out like 3 sets before Duresh did, the region that he's from. And he straight up had a starting card that didn't exist until that region got printed. So he was not super useful. But then this comes out and we see his true form, that he was actually infiltrating the core all along. He was never actually part of their bullshit. Well, I don't think we ever fully revealed what he was up to, like why he was doing it. Just that he was. Alright, let's take a look. Aubra's Canteen. Relic effect Refresh. If you have no cards in your hand, discard Aubra's Canteen, draw 5 cards. That's pretty good. Effect Refill. If Aubra's Canteen is discarded from your hand by an opposing card, play it instead, ignoring all costs. Neat. I don't know if you can see, but this canteen is pouring out sand. Use sand to refresh and you won't miss water. I think you probably would. Aubra's Timepiece. After you play Aubra's Timepiece, discard all copies of Aubra's Hourglass from play. Cards cannot prevent Aubra's Hourglass from being discarded. Effect Time Slip. All cards played during the 2nd Powers Relic Spells step cost 2 extra energy to play. Like I said, they're weird. Do we have Aubra's Timepiece? Keep an eye out for it. Aubra's Wisdom. A lot of Aubra cards. If you have 4 or more cards in your hand, shuffle your hand into your deck until the end of your next turn. Draw 3 extra cards during your draw step. So another way to get a bunch of cards in your hand. Avatar's staff. So this is Koromar's staff. You can see it's the same item in both pieces of art. Effect, subjective reality. Your Magi cannot be defeated while you have illusions in play. Very powerful. Effect, when one of your illusions is defeated in an attack, discard a card from your hand. Also, it's got a cost. Perception is reality, is the quote. I remember one of the other cards that I was looking at had a Magi saying, nah, the avatar was full of shit. Deception is reality. Fun stuff. I like it when the cards cross-reference each other like that. It just makes me happy. We got a Cactus Drite. Effect Thorn. Whenever an opposing Magi draws a card outside of the draw step, remove one energy from that Magi. Effect Deny. Powers and effects on Shadow Magi cannot be used while Cactus Drite is in play. So, it looks like the shtick of this deck is maybe controlling card draw for yourself and the opponent, and also fucking over the core. Circling Darbox, like a two-headed vulture. That's awesome. I don't even know what to describe the Cactus Drite as. It's a cactus monster with bug legs. Power, Passing Shadow, choose an opposing creature. If the chosen creature is discarded from play this turn, draw a card. So it's like a called shot. Craw. Fucking. It's like a turtle with a crab claw for a head. And no legs. Who even needs legs with jaws that big? Power Sift, discard Craw from play, search your discard pile for Direct Relic and add it to your hand. What do you mean there's no such thing as Sandy Craws? Okay. Alright. See, that is the quality of humor that was absent from the animated series, alright? Now, hopefully, you understand why we're so pissed off. An 11 cost creature, so this is a kaiju also. Drakkar. This is an illusion. When Drakkar is discarded from play, choose one opposing creature with 3 energy or less. Discard that one too. Effect, as you play Drakkar, reduce its cost by 5, so almost half. Cost 6 to play then. Drakkar is not considered to be in play when checking to see if your Magi is defeated, and it cannot attack Magi directly. You tell it it's not real. Fun. Relic, Dreamcatcher. Effect, absorb. Once per turn after an opponent plays a creature, you may move up to 2 energy from that creature to a creature you control. Well, that's just handy. Always useful. We got a Mirage spell. Remove 1 energy from each opposing non-illusion creature. Add 1 energy to each illusion. Duress Shadow Magi may play this. We got an Olim Fiend. Olim is another creature type. Olim Fiend's text cannot be altered. You know that there's going to be some fuck shit whenever they print something like that. Power Skulk. Choose an opposing Duresh creature and remove 1 energy from it. That creature is an illusion until the end of your next turn. Illusions are not considered to be in play when checking to see if your Magi is defeated. Cannot attack Magi directly. So, this I can recognize is part of the shtick of the Trader's Reach set. Is, as it says on the tin, it's treachery. Every region gets a creature that works against creatures of its same region, including the core, who has these cute little skull guys, skull bugs. We'll probably see one of those. Definitely see one of those. I paid for the full goddamn set. And it also says in the text here, core Magi can play Olim Fiend, so these are creatures that are like in the process of becoming corrupted. Here we have an Olim Mystic, effect Plague. At the end of each player's turn, that player chooses a non-Olim creature, remove 1 energy from the chosen creature. Underneath creature, that's interesting. Rabid Busywog. Busywog's very cute. Not so much the rabid ones. Effect Feisty. Whenever Rabid Busywog attacks, you may choose 2 creatures. Rabid Busywog attacks both creatures, removes its energy from both defending creatures at the same time. Effect: if Rabid Busywog is burrowed, discard it from play. Koromar and underneath Shadow Magi can play Rabid Busywog. Interesting. Calls out Koromar specifically. I'm not sure if this is a reprint from a previous set. Sandshark? It's the guy from the box! Yeah! Cute. Effect Hunt: as Sandshark attacks a creature with 5 or more energy, remove 2 energy from that creature. So this is how you fight the Orathan. Just cancel its ability. Got a Sandstorm Orsha. Orsha is like a whirlwind creature. This is dual region. It's Daresh Ardirial, and it's an illusion. Oh, crap. Already have been at this for over an hour. I cannot be reading every single one of these. Sand Trap spell. Choose a creature without any spells attached and attach Sand Trap to it. While Sand Trap is attached, that creature loses 1 energy at the beginning of each player's turn. Shimmering Orsha. The Orsha, their illusion. Sikra, Daresh underneath. Loses no energy from opposing spells or powers. As you play Sikra... Oh, it's an illusion. Neat. Another Hyron, the Spined Hyron. It's like a cactus. Got really pretty wings. And no hind legs, I don't think. Just 2 forelimbs. Our Mental Assault. Choose a player and one of that player's creatures. Look at the chosen player's hand. Remove 1 energy from the chosen creature for each spell. It's not hard to rub it the wrong way. Swirling Orsha, another goddamn Orsha. Are they all illusions? I guess they are. Oop. Underneath Relic, Trigar's Will. Effect Legacy: when your Magi is defeated, choose an opponent and 2 of that player's non-Magi cards in play. Chosen player chooses and discards 1 of the chosen cards. Koromar can play Trigar's Will. And I leave all of my Animite to the people of Vashnaroom so they can afford to move somewhere decent. So again, we're getting into some lore stuff. That we've got these underneath cards that Koromar can play. They've released a whole bunch of fiction stories. Hello, Jester! Welcome to the stream. We're looking at cards. What was I saying? Yeah, they've released a whole bunch of fiction stories. I downloaded them all. And I have read them all in the past. I don't remember the details of all of them, but I wonder if that's something they covered. And we've got Crushing Sands, the Daresh Crush spell. Choose an opposing creature, remove 4 energy. If this discards the creature, remove 1 energy from each of that player's creatures. Okay. Just more damage. And our last card... Oh, it's a cool looking one. Twilight Moet, I guess it is. You can't see very well on my camera, but it's like it's like a skeleton, and instead of legs, it's got like an insect body, much smaller than its upper humanoid skeleton body. Looking creature. Okay, what do we got? Power, Dark Sands. Choose an opposing creature. That creature is core until the beginning of your next turn. Effect. Oh, it's Dresh/core, too. Is this a new original creature? I need to open up my list. Yeah, this is a new Trader's Reach card. The vanilla Moet is uh, more of a cactus centaur than a skeleton thing. So, okay, let's read the flavor text here, too. After being released from their prison in Duresh, Lanix and Shur use their powers of corruption to taint the beauty of the desert. Neat. Lanix and Shur are a couple of shadow magi who fled the core after the events of the Game Boy game. And they sort of started doing their own thing. As a bunch of these shadow magi did. I really would have liked to see a second game. Alright, what have I got? Oh! My homeland, Nar. The Canada region. For cool people with zero chill. Yeah, that's me. Conserve your strength. Frigid winds will drain your quarry. They'll be waiting for you, collapsed in the drifts ahead. Become winter, heralded by icy creatures and driving snow, and savor your inevitable victory. So the whole shtick of Nar is just making it harder to do anything, and a lot of their effects along those lines affect you as well as your opponents. But Nar cards tend to have effects that mitigate those penalties. Plastic, doesn't matter. The main thing that Nar cards can do is freeze creatures, relics, or magi, which causes their powers to cost 1 additional energy. Those are rules again. These don't each have different art, do they? No. Subscribe to see the full stream in the future. Can a creature be frozen multiple times? No. But you are correct that I am going to be uploading this stream to YouTube at some point in the future. Alright, who we got? Hajnin. If you read it backwards, it's ninja. Got very ninja art. Nar Magi also tend to have low energy, high energize. So that's another way that they mitigate the cost. Like, everything costs extra, well, I've got extra energy every turn. Power Iceberg. Choose a frozen creature you control and an opposing creature with less energy. Discard both creatures from play. So if your creatures are frozen, they become ammunition. Lock. I remember this guy. This is a reference to Final Fantasy VI. The flavor text is straight up, bandit is such a dirty word, I prefer treasure hunter. Absolutely a reference. Power Treasure Hunt. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Select an opponent. That player chooses one of the cards. Place that card in your hand. If lock is frozen, choose one of the remaining cards and place it in your hand. Discard the others. Also, lock has a limitation. Can only play Gnar and Universal cards. And starting energy of 8, which is very low. But energize of 8, which is one of the highest. And Aurora, 9 energy. Energize 7. Can only play Gnar cards. Can't even play Universal cards. Effect Mistress of Frost. If Aurora is frozen, increase or energize by 2. Up to 9. Holy crap. Alright. Relic Chill Cane. Effect Waste Not. At the end of each turn, each player shuffles their discard pile into their deck. Effect Want Not. At the beginning of your draw step, if you have no cards in your hand, draw 2 extra cards. So this would mess up a lot of strategies like, for example, in the Bograth deck we looked at, we had black stuff that you can play from your discard pile. And the Duresh deck that I just looked at were all about sort of controlling their discard pile in their deck. So this kind of just shuts that down. It shuts you down too, but then it has the secondary effect. If you've got no cards in your hand, you just get to draw extra. Oh, we got a Jarmander. This is an Arctic creature, which is a special type of Gnar creature which freezes all of one category of card. While Jarmander is in play, all relics in play are frozen. Powers on frozen cards cost 1 additional energy to use. And an extra effect, Dream Drain. When an opposing relic is discarded from play, add 2 energy to Jarmander. As deadly as they are, unpronounceable. I'm guessing we're going to see a lot of Arctic cards. Hajnin has any one Arctic card as his starting. Wow, the Gnar cards are like especially not showing up on the camera. To the point that it's actually bugging it out. It's turning the screen snowy. Damn. That is one powerful card effect. Essence of Frost. While Essence of Frost in play, all cards in play are frozen. Wow. I used to play Gnar. I wasn't very good at it. But I did like just fucking with the opponent so thoroughly. And that was one of my favorite cards, because just when you get that on the field, just everything sucks. Spell Flash Freeze. Choose a creature, remove 1 energy from the creature for each frozen card you control. So you can see the combo there. Frost Hyren. Very pretty one. This is another Arctic creature. Freezes all creatures in play. Effect Frostbite. Whenever any player plays a relic, remove 1 energy from each of that player's creatures. Hunter Furrock. So Furrock is sort of like the mascot of the whole franchise. It being the very first creature that you get in the Game Boy game. Of course, that's a vanilla Furrock. This is the Hunter. Different region, different stuff. Whenever Hunter Furrock attacks a Magi, add energy to your Magi equal to the number of the defending creature's relics in play, and removes 2 additional energy. So this one can also fight a whale. We got an Ice Vinoc. Vanilla Vinoc is a vine and root creature. This one is just ice. Very pretty, though. Ice Cap. This poor Bograth Magi. When Ice Cap comes into play, choose an opposing Magi. That Magi gains control of Ice Cap. Effect, Chilling Thought. Your cards cost 1 extra energy to play. That's on top of being frozen. So that sucks. At the end of your turn, you may discard all of your relics from play. So, if you don't want to pay one extra energy for every single one of your cards, you have the option of not having any relics. Also, is it just me, or does this look like uh, 2D from Gorillas? Ice Fang Battle Sled. My favorite names for a card. Or zoom, choose one of your creatures, add 2 energy to the chosen creature. That creature can and must attack a Magi directly before this turn. Directly this turn. Ice Pack spell. Choose a creature, attack Ice Pack to it. The creature is frozen. Oh, sorry. If the creature is frozen, its powers cost 2 less energy. Okay. So that can cause a frozen creature to actually use its powers cheaper. Kintor Furs. Kintor is a creature. If your Magi is frozen, your spells and powers cost 1 less energy. If your relics are frozen, they also cost 1. So this just kind of completely mitigates the penalties for freezing for your relics and Magi. Also, this character in this art here is from a special promo card, the League Elder. League is in the Magi-Nation like tournament league. I don't remember the full effects of the Magi, but their shtick is that they choose their region as you play them, so they can kind of go in any deck. Krinkriak. Uh, Krinkriak is in play. All Magi in play are frozen. It's not actually listed as an Arctic creature. I wonder if that's a misprint. I'm gonna check. Yeah, the original Voice of the Storms version is listed as Arctic. I wonder if that misprint is beneficial or detrimental. It means that Hajnin can't choose that as a starting card. Of course, since it is a misprint, of course, you would just, look that up and note that real card is Arctic. Kyrol. Choose a frozen creature and play and discard it for a cost of 4 energy. Kyrol is defeated in an attack while frozen. It goes back to your hand. Yeesh. Momback. This is one of my favorites. Its power is Cold Pack. Choose another creature in play. Add 1 energy to the chosen creature, or 2 additional energy if that creature is frozen. So, if Momback is not frozen, this is free to use. If you're frozen, it costs 1, but adds 3. So, any way you look at it, Momback just adds free energy, and if you've got a couple of them out in play at once, then you're sitting pretty. Polar Ebit. These things are cute. It's just a little fox head with feet. Does he have a pink flower in his hair? No, the League Elder has multicolored hair to represent the fact that he can be of any region. Polar Rudwat. I also really thought this thing was cute. Rask Deserter. Oh yeah, this is another one of the traitor creatures. They'll have the Skulk power, I believe. But they have different effects. Choose an opposing Gnar creature, remove 1 energy from it, and discard a relic controlled by that creature's Magi. Ooh, love this. Rage's Construct. Universal Dream creature. Costs 12. And just every power. Let's see. Effect, Ancestral Favor. Your spells cost 1 less energy. Effect, Invigorate. Increase your Magi's energies energized by 1. Effect, Tinker. Whenever you play a relic, choose any one creature in play, add 1 energy to the chosen creature. Power, Aura Reflection costs 2. Copy any one power on your Magi, paying all costs. Power Channeling. Discard 2 cards from your hand to add 2 energy to your Magi. Power Lore. Draw 1 card. Power. Pound, pound, pound. Discard 1 relic from play. A little dirty. It comes in 3 different sizes, large, extra large, and oh my gosh, it's coming this way. So the way that powers work is you can use each power that a card has once per turn. So 4 powers, you can use all of them if you want, although it costs you 6 energy or 10 energy if construct is frozen. Tundra Hyren, this is like an abominable snowman with wings and tusks. I love it. Choose an opposing Magi. That Magi's creatures are frozen until the beginning of your next turn. Dope. Yarment. This, as far as I'm concerned, is the legendary Gnar creature. It's Arctic, freezes all creatures in play, and whenever a frozen card is discarded, add 1 energy to Yarment. Frozen card, creature, relic, Magi, anything, whether it's yours or your opponent's. That's just 1 energy on the Yarment. If you've got other Arctic creatures or other ways of freezing things, then this thing just gets huge. I love it. Got a Javu, another Arctic creature. This one does creatures also. When Javu is discarded, all creatures remain frozen until the end of the turn. Crushing Ice. If this discards a creature from play, remove 3 energy from the Magi. And Naran Lights. The art on this is really nice, but there's no way you'll be able to get the full effect on the camera. But you can see the colors, and that's also pretty good. Costs 5 to play, though. It's expensive. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Choose 1 revealed Arctic creature and play it with 5 energy, ignoring all costs. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. If you did not play a creature this way, place the cards in your hand instead. This is a new one. Oh god. Luminous Excitation of Dream Barrier Precipitate? At this time of year? At this time of day? In this region? Localized entirely right in front of me? Is it holographic? It's not holographic, it's just very colorful. Looks holographic because of the god-awful camera setup. It's nice to see that they have updated their pop culture references. Okay, get some water here. We got a ways to go. I am going to stop reading all of these. Weave! A Weave deck. This is nice for me because I don't own... I've never been able to get my hands on a Weave deck, or Kaibar's Teeth, or Core, so this is actually going to give me a collection that I can build any region deck I want. Plus all of these Trader's Reach decks I've been getting are pretty functional just out of the box. Everything is part of the whole. Welcome to the Weave. We have known your presence since your feet first touched our grasses. As a braided cord is stronger than its threads, the power we share is what makes us mighty. Come and be one with the Weave Mind. Weave is a cool region. It's the grassland region, which in most media is like the generic, boring, nothing special about it kinda area. But When Magi-Nation says grassland, they mean it. The grass is like 100 feet tall, each strand, and every single one of them can be controlled independently or in groups by any Magi native to the Weave. And they use that ability to just make the grass like fold in and form a path for them and then pop back up after they're gone. And everybody else has to walk through the mud. I really always liked the lore of that. Super cool. Alright. Morella, Savant. She's very pretty. 8 Energize. That's beastly. Jungertrug Horn and Stumbling Jungertrug. Your non-Jungertrug cards cost 1 extra energy to play. Each of your Jungertrug cards costs 2 less energy to play. Which would also include the Jungertrug Horn, I suppose. That's a relic, not a creature. Jungertrug is the creature that L is riding on in the Will Save World for Gold comic that I drew. Karu. Search your deck for up to 3 cards and discard them. Shuffle your deck and draw a card. Ushi. Motivate. Till the end of your turn, each of your creatures with the effect Weave gains 2 energy as it attacks. She is holding a big ol' hammer. And she's got very large feet, as most of these characters do. Towards the end of the Magi-Nation run, Matt Holmberg really started drawing him sexy. Still does, like he's still an artist, still draws things. Spell, Countless Blades, move 1 energy from each opposing creature to your Magi. Damn. Creature Drowl. Whenever you play Drowl, draw 2 cards. And it's got the Weave effect. Most Weave creatures have the effect Weave. Whenever Drowl attacks or is attacked, before energy is removed, you may move 1 energy between Drowl and any one of your other Weave creatures in play. So there's 2 ways to use that. If you're getting attacked, you can move an energy to your defending creature to make it deal a little extra damage to the opponent, or if you know that you're going to lose the creature, you can move 1 energy away from it so that your other creatures will be a little bit better defended. And since almost all of the creatures have that, it's cray-cray. Jungertrug, of course, does not need Weave. Jungertrug is big, strong. Effect Rage. Whenever Jungertrug attacks, add 2 energy to it before energy is removed. Effect Hunger. Jungertrug must attack each turn if able. The only way that you wouldn't be able is if some spell or effect prevents it, or if you already defeated the opposing Magi. Here's the Jungertrug Horn. Power Summon, search your deck and or discard pile for any one Jungertrug, put it in your hand, or shuffle your deck. Lacinth, this is a snake made of grass. It's not like a single blade sort of snaking around, it's all coiled into a spiral. It's very cool. A lot of powers. Whenever Lacinth is attacked, it removes energy immediately before creatures normally remove energy. Which means that it can potentially kill its opponent before it takes any damage. Lacinth must attack each turn if able. Cards may not prevent Lacinth from attacking. But that effect has a name, so can disable that effect, which effectively prevents it from attacking. Alon's Quest. Discard a Weave creature from your hand. Reveal a number of cards from the top of your deck equal to the creature's starting energy. Choose up to 2 creatures from the revealed cards. Add them to your hand. Shuffle the rest. Scurrying Wegget, which is like a little tiny bear with a beetle shell. Awesome. It's got the Skulk power, so it's not actually all that awesome. It's a little turd. Choose an opposing Weave creature, remove 1 energy from it. That creature must attack one of your creatures immediately, regardless of spells, powers, or effects. And you may choose which creature is attacked. It's just a little shit disturber. Speeg Sprouts. Effect Weave Strength. After energy is moved to Speeg Sprouts on an opponent's turn, add 1 energy to Speeg Sprouts. So, if you're using those Weave effects to move energy onto this thing, it gets 1 extra energy each time, for free. At a gesture from Iori, the Speeg Sprouts swarmed as the Core Hyron dove in for an attack. Weaving energy between themselves, the sprouts began to grow in size. Pretty sure that this is a new one. Speeg. Oh no. No, it's not. I just don't look at a lot of Weave cards, because as I said, I don't own that many. Every set after a region is introduced does have cards of that region, but the set where they first come into play always has the most. So if you're not buying decks or booster packs from that set, you're not getting very many of those cards. Usually not enough to make a deck with, anyway. Ooh, Stumbling Jungertrug. Effect Carouse at the end of your turn. If Stumbling Jundertrug has an even amount of energy, add 2 energy to it, otherwise remove 3 energy from it. Effect Suntan, your creatures lose 1 less energy from called spells and powers. Neat. Toasted Yajo, Yajo, Yayo, Yaho? Could be pronounced any number of ways. This creature is a burned piece of grass, which is a reference to an event in the Magi-Nation fiction, where after the core Big Bad was defeated, a whole bunch of Shadow Magi fled the core, as I mentioned earlier. They ended up in the Weave, and a bunch of Magi from Called went to get them, and they started a massive grass fire. Weave Arball. I like this guy's vibe. Look at that smile. After Weave Arball is defeated in an attack, add 1 energy to each of your creatures with the effect Weave. Weave Hut, sort of demonstrating the weaving power of the grass that I was talking about. Effect Shelter, your creatures lose 1 less energy from opposing spells, powers, and effects that remove energy. Your Magi loses no energy from opposing spells, powers, and effects. Effect Sprawling. Whenever your Magi is attacked, discard Weave Hut from play. Oh, geez. Weave Maul. So this is the same hammer that our girl Ushi is wielding. So we've basically got 2 different arts of the same character. Power Crush. Remove 1 energy from each creature without the effect Weave. That would include your Jundertrugs, but being able to remove 1 energy from a Stumbling Jundertrug, potentially useful. Get that energy back. There is no power, no magic, no force in the whole of the Moonlands that can defeat me while I carry my hammer. I think I might like this character. Weave Seed. Spell, play Weave Seed only before your attack step. Choose a Weave creature, add 7 energy. That creature can attack an additional time this turn and must attack if able. Weave Woven Anklet. Is that? That's Morella with dreadlocks. A lot of Weave Magi have dreadlocks. Morella doesn't. But I think that's her. I could be wrong. The same grass bra. Excuse me. Again, I can't read all of these. Crushing Growth. Remove 4 energy from chosen creature. If this discards the creature, all opposing creatures must attack on their player's next turn if able. So, a lot of forcing creatures to attack in this deck. Ooh, Wandering Bolament. Is this also a misprint? Am I thinking of... Furrock? No, I'm thinking of a different card. Effect Fetch. As Wandering Bolament attacks, choose one of your other creatures, add 2 energy to that creature. Effect Wander. Non-Narum Magi may play Wandering. Okay, so that's... Yeah, I was thinking that this card was supposed to be Dual Region Weave, but I'm thinking of Baby Furrock. Completely different. Oh boy, that's almost a quarter of them. I'm going to be here for a while. I'm going to try to pick up the pace. What did I just grab? Peridwin. Okay. Batanya's region. Art. Tanya's region. Do you hear that melody? The Scarlet Song beckons. We stalk our prey from branches above, spring traps on would-be predators, and warp our creatures to gain an edge. Readiness and flexibility are how we thrive, but we live for the hunt. So Peridwin's whole shtick, they have a couple. One is Dream Warp, which is an effect that most Peridwin creatures have that allow you to increase their cost by 1 or reduce their cost by 1 as you play them. So this just means that every Peridwin creature has 3 different possible energy values that you can play it at. Very versatile. They have an effect they can inflict on opposing cards, Stalked, which causes stalked creatures to lose 1 energy before an attack. And they also have the Scarlet Song, which is not like a status effect like Stalked, but it's just... There's a whole bunch of different Scarlet Song cards that also increase the effectiveness of your creature's attacks. Ooh. That's some good character art. They use Squick's art in a whole lot of promo stuff. Because, like I said, Holmberg started drawing them sexy towards the end of the Magi-Nation run. She has Scarlet Song power. She gets Scarlet Song Banner, Scarlet Song Lahalu, which is a creature. Prepared when creatures remove 1 extra energy in attacks. Your Scarlet Song cards cost 1 less energy to play to a minimum of 1. I don't cause commotions, I am one. Good quote. Migi. Effect Guardian. If an opposing spell or power would discard one of your creatures from play while it has energy, you may remove 1 energy from Migi. Do remove all but 1 energy from your creature instead. Quote, this is my jungle, I have to defend it. That is a Home Alone reference. And Ayane Commando. Power Impair. Reduce each opposing creature to its printed starting energy. That's Potentially very effective, especially against Weave or Naroom decks that tend to grow very big creatures, or Bograth for that matter. Alright, let's get through this. Ambush spell. Choose any one creature in play, loses energy equal to its starting energy. Boggle Fangs. That text is too small, I'm not reading it all. Crushing Vines. These are usually put in at the end of the stack. If the chosen creature is discarded from play, until the end of your turn, all of that player's creatures are stocked. Whenever a stocked creature is attacked, remove 1 energy from it before energy is removed. Like I said. Drum Solo. Good spell. Choose 2 Paradwin creatures in play. Restore each creature to its printed starting energy. Gazran. I considered using this as Botania's creature because it also is like the general Flytrap sort of plant. But it's another 10 energy, so I would have been tempted to draw it as a giant kaiju, and I didn't take up that much space on the panel. Effect Reality Warp. You may discard 3 of your Paradwin creatures with the effect Dream Warp from play instead of playing Gazran's energy cost. So, discard 3 tiny creatures that you played potentially for like even less energy than their printed cost. So if you have 3 creatures that cost 2 energy, you can play them each for 1, so 3 energy that you've spent, and then you can discard them all to play this thing for 10. And as you play it, you can increase or decrease its starting energy by up to 1, so you can in fact play it for 11. Hiron's Call. This is a Naroom spell from the original base set. I think it's from the base set. Search your deck for any one Hiron of the same region as your Magi. Play the Hiron with its starting energy, ignoring all costs. The spell costs 6, but if you get a Hiron that costs more than that, good spell. Inix. It's like a coconut with leaf legs and an underbite. Cute. It also costs 8 energy, so it must be pretty big. Jungle Ebit. We saw a Polar Ebit earlier. If Jungle Ebit would be defeated in an attack, move up to 2 energy from your Magi to Jungle Ebit. The general gist of Ebits is that they're a pain in the ass to kill. Jungle Riddle. Oh boy. So this costs 1. Discard a card from your hand, choose an opponent. That opponent removes up to 5 energy from their Magi. Add energy to your Magi equal to 5 minus the energy that your opponent removed from their Magi. So, yeah, like, you're going to take 5 damage or I'm going to gain 5 energy. Up to you. Lurking Manani. This is like a bamboo snake. And this is another one of the Skulkers. Choose an opposing Paradwin creature, remove 1 energy from it. That creature removes no energy in attacks until the beginning of your next turn. These are like cool thematic creatures with the story going on of like betrayal, but these sort of like anti-region creatures are kind of tricky to use in a deck, aren't they? I don't know what the official tournament format was, like if you play 3 games and you can mix up your deck between games or something like that. I know some card games have that where you have your deck and then you also have a substitute stack of like 15 cards or something so that you can mix it up as appropriate. This is Overgrowth and a room spell. Give a creature Energize 3. That's big. Rala? I don't even know what you would call this. It's like a cat giraffe. Scarlet Song Banner. Effect. After an opposing card removes energy from your Magi, discards, call it. Okay. So you only have it until you take damage. Effect Morale Boost. Increase your Magi's energized by 1, draw an extra card during your draw step. So as long as you got this in play, you are just better. Till you get slapped. Scarlet Song Whit. Effect Call of the Riled. All of your Paradwin creatures cost 1 less energy whenever they are... lose 1 less energy whenever they are attacked. Remove 1 additional energy whenever they attack. Very strong. Yeah, if you can get stocked effects on your enemy and then get a bunch of Scarlet Song cards out there, become unstoppable. Scarlet Song Lahalu. Power Screech. Discard Scarlet Song Lahalu from play. Add 1 energy to your Magi for each Scarlet Song card you control. You can use that to set up something big. Scarlet Song Lilt, a spell. Choose an opposing creature, attach this card to it. As the chosen creature loses energy in an attack, remove 2 energy from the creature's Magi. Discard at the beginning of your turn. Tripvine. What creature is this tripping? I don't know. It looks like a Bogwrath creature. Sure, I still got these on camera. I'm trying to get through them fast, but I do still want to show them. Stumble. Once per turn, as an opposing creature attacks your Magi, move half of the creature's energy rounded up to its Magi. Return that creature to its owner's hand. Classic trap card. Tropical Hyren. So this one costs 6, so it's... you're at least not losing any energy if you pop this out with Hyren's Call. Effect Maximum Warp. Whenever one of your other creatures uses the effect Dream Warp, you may Dream Warp for an additional energy. That's very strong. As you play Tropical Hyren, increase or decrease its starting energy by up to 1 to a minimum starting energy of 1 until the end of the turn. And it's got an energize value. Vine Batar. Whiplash. Choose a stalked creature. Move 1 energy from that creature to Vine Batar. And good old Warrior's Boots fills out any deck nicely. This is a relic, so you can play it before the play creatures step of your turn, and you can just use it to play a creature from your hand. You still have to pay for it, but it means normally it goes play spells and relics and powers, then you play creatures, then you attack with your... Nope, other way. Attack with your creatures, then play creatures, then you can play spells and relics again. But Warrior's Boots allows you to play a creature and then attack with the same turn. There's a few creatures that have a similar effect on their own. Stuff. What do we got? Naroom! Hell yeah. I hope I get this elephant. Did I show it? Yeah. The forest protects and nourishes. Stand with oak-strong Magi to uphold the balance of nature. Braced by bonds as deep as trees' roots, we cultivate dream creatures as tough as ironwood, invigorated by the pure magic of life itself. I like how all these descriptions are written in character. It's not, you, the player, can use this deck to do this thing. It's, we, the Magi of this deck, can do this thing. It appeals to my nerd brain. Let's see. Rules. Those. I'm getting a fat stack of rules cards here. Give them away to my friends. To deck. Power Vitalize. Choose a creature with less than its starting energy. Restore it to its printed starting energy. Can only play in a room and universal cards. But he's got 6 energize, 15 energy. That's pretty strong. Pruitt Ringsmith. Power Refresh, cost 2. Add 2 energy to each Bolament you control. Effect Nurture. Bolaments you control lose 1 less energy in attacks. And Sieve? Effect Research. Relic costs you 1 less energy to play to a minimum of 1. Effect Knowledge. As you use a power on a Narum Relic, choose a creature you control, add 1 energy to it. Maybe can't see it on camera, but she's got cute glasses. Relic Pruitt's Robe. This is a base set card. Bolament Pup. That's either base set or Awakening. I don't remember. Bolament. This is a base set card with new art. It looks way better. IMO. And it looks like we have a new artist worked on this, which is cool. Illustration by Holmberg/Tibke? Harvest Feast. Choose up to 3 Narum creatures, add 2 energy each. This character is Pod, the Innkeeper of Narum. He's just a short little guy that cooks lots and lots and lots of food. Including Weebos. Lava Bolament. So this is to go with Pruitt. It's a called card, so you would pay 1 extra to play it. But if you're running a creature type deck, then it's worth it. Wandering Bolament again. 3 of them, so I have what, 5 of these now? Energy Band, another base set card. Taproots, base set card. Let me choose any 2 creatures in play, remove up to 2 energy from one of the chosen creatures, add up to 2 energy to the other chosen creatures. So it's not an energy transfer, technically. It is remove 2, add 2. Not move 2 from. The benefit of that is that you can use it to kill a 1 energy creature and still get the 2 energy out of it. But generally want to try to get the maximum value. Remember Ring. This is more art of Pruitt. Power Good Old Days. Discard Remember Ring from play. Put a Narum creature from your discard pile into play with 1 energy. That creature may not attack this turn. I don't know. That doesn't seem like very good value because it costs 3 energy to play this. I guess it would depend on what effects or powers the creature has and whether or not you can restore it to its... So, Tedek can pay 2 energy to restore a creature to its starting energy. So if you have a big enough creature, spend 3 on the relic, spend 2 on Tedek's power. That's good value. Khatib Thumper. This is a Narum Paradwin creature. Crushing Roots. We've got more Lava Bolament art. If this discards the chosen creature from play, choose any one of your creatures, add 3 energy to the creature. Narum is all about adding energy. They're the best at it, generally. Sneaky Weebo. Choose an opposing Narum creature, remove 1 energy from it, add 4 energy to another creature you control. So again, with the very efficient adding of energy. Snag Arball. Power Trip. Choose an opponent, remove 1 energy from that opponent's Magi for each creature they control. That is the anti-Bograth power. Stagadan Charger. So this is basically a Unipegasus. Alicorn, is that the My Little Pony word for it? Much nicer art than the original Stagadan. Carillion Titan, there's the big boy. It is a big elephant with a tree city on its back. Effect Rampant Growth. After another creature you control defeats an opposing creature in an attack, add 3 energy to Carillion Titan. The lore of this card in particular is that the city on its back is Vash Narum, the capital of Narum. It is like a secret legendary creature that is only summoned in times of great need. It can move like the whole city if it needs to. Blooming Bracelet. Verdant Shield. Attach Verdant Shield to your Magi. While Verdant Shield is attached, creatures lose 1 less energy in attacks. Discard it from play at the beginning of your turn. Hapu! Oh, this is a special one. This is a little mechanical monkey. The mechanical elements are not apparent because it's like a plushie. Hapu may not be chosen by an effect, power, or spell that would cause it to change controllers. Effect True Friend. As an opposing spell or power removes energy from your Magi, remove 2 less energy. If your Magi is universal or Narum, remove 3 less energy instead. Just a happy little monkey friend. Hapu, who is mentioned here, or sorry, Tuku, who is mentioned as a starting card for Tuku, is an ancient Magi that was turned to stone by Agram, who is like the big bad of Magi-Nation. And you free him at the end of the Game Boy game. You don't know that in the Game Boy game, but he gets some fiction stories that pop up later. And here we have a Vril. This is cool looking. So this is modern era Holmberg art. And it's got way more detail, but it's also still got like some of his signature style, the like big, fat, chonky claws. Oh, it's cool looking. Costs 4. Energize 1. Effect Autumn Leaves. Your creatures energize on your draw step instead of your energize step. Interesting. Darkwood Furrock. This is another new card. Also by Holmberg. 9 energy. Effect Summoning. Once per turn when you play any Furred or Furrock, you may use energy from Darkwood Furrock to play it. Effect Mantle of Kings. When you play another Furred or Furrock, add 1 energy to it. Effect Return. As one of your other Furrocks loses energy while attacking, place half that much energy rounded down onto Darkwood Furrock. This is an energy engine. Damn. What? Was it? Is this on purpose? Are they trolling me? Two, 6, 7, 10, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 26, 27, 32, 33, 35, 36, 37, 38, 45. Last one I counted had 46 cards besides the Magi. Looks like I got myself another misprint. I already own a couple. The ones that I own are like really common misprints though. So much so that one of the cards that is part of this Trader's Reach thing is actually a reference to it. I think that was a promo card, so I won't be getting it as a part of my stash here. So I wonder how common this is, and also what I missed, and if I can get one sent to me. I am going to make a note right now. Where's the notepad? There we go. MNDTR car Titan deck misprint. Just to remind me. Alright. That was weird. But we keep going. Core is the next one that I grabbed. Neat. This is the evil region. Behold the truth of the heart in deepest darkness. Starve your foes of light within the shadow of your towering ambition. Ancient forbidden secrets sleep in the gloom that spans the stars, and they could be all yours. You need only answer the call. I talked a little bit about Core's special effects. Core Magi can only play core cards, and non-core Magi cannot play core cards. There are numerous exceptions, which are like specific text on those cards. In general, core cards tend to be just a little bit stronger than other regions because of that restriction. They actually have some of the strongest cards in the game. Like, they've got the strongest Magi card, the Dark Twins. Who do we got here? Lennox Reaper. This is a called Shadow Magi. Power Hatred. Remove 2 energy from each opposing creature. Remove 1 extra energy from each Duresh creature. So, they were talking about him on some of the Duresh cards, about how he was imprisoned for a bit, and he took that personally, to the point that he now has, like, a special power to fuck them over with. Talok, Traitor. This is a Kaibar's Teeth Shadow Magi. He's a new Shadow Magi. He existed as a regular Kaibar's Teeth Magi before this. He is like the strongest Kaibar's Teeth Magi, like physically strongest. But somebody else is the leader of Kaibar's Teeth despite that fact, and he didn't take kindly to that, so they were able to, the bad guys were able to use that to make him do bad. Effect Betrayed Secrets. Effects may not reduce the amount of energy removed from opposing creatures and attacks. So that specifically is to counter Kaibar's Teeth's main shtick of creatures taking less damage in attacks. Effect Strengthen. Your core creatures remove 1 extra energy from attacks. In his flavor text, of course I'll show you how to use Kaibar's Fang. Kaibar's Fang is the tallest mountain in the Moonlands. It can also be turned into an animate creature. So it is a relic that you can play, and you can change it into a creature to attack your opponent, and that turns back into a relic at the end of the turn. And within the lore of Trader's Reach storyline, one of the core Magi, Warada, gains control of it because of Talok, giving away the secrets. And she turns it into the Nightmare Construct, which I have a feeling we are going to see. I don't want to get ahead of myself. And we've got Yayak, Weave Shadow Magi, effect Seeds of Deceit. At the beginning of your turn, choose a spell or relic in an opposing discard pile, shuffle it into its owner's deck. Increase Yayak's energized by that card's energy cost until the end of your turn. It's pretty good. It puts it back in their deck, so no guarantee that they're going to be drawing it again anytime soon, but you get to benefit right away. It's an interesting inversion of what the Weave usually does. Colosset. This is another universal creature, another Robot, although a little bit of a smaller one. Effect spare parts, your Colossus and Construct cards cost 1 less to play to a minimum of 1. Crouching Xanth. Hidden Dragon. I think this is new art, if not a new creature. Wrong on both counts. Again, I don't own a lot of Kaibar's Teeth cards, so I am just less familiar with them in general. If I own enough cards from a region to make a deck, then, I tend to look up the list to make it a little bit easier to construct, to keep track of what's the good cards and what's bad. This is a... Okay, so this is another trader card. Choose an opposing Kaibar's Teeth creature, remove 1 energy from it, add 4 energy to your largest creature. So, that's the Kaibar's Teeth shtick, is the largest creature gets benefits. Dark Furrock, this is a reprint from the Awakening set. Also, it is an alt Furrock, so the total number of Furrocks and Dark Furrocks cannot exceed 3. They stopped making alternate creature cards. I think there's only 2. Dark Furrock and Darkbreed's Minion, which is an alternate Hyron. Because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense in the lore. Like, why would it limit the... Whatever. We got a Dark Velop. A bat thing with crab claws. Got the Drush. So, corrupted weave creature, basically. Forgotten Dancer, which appears to be a rose in a dress in a glass case with a wind-up key. A lot going on there. Power Excise. Choose any one core creature in play, discard Forgotten Dancer from play, take control of the chosen creature. The creature loses energy equal to the amount of energy on your Magi. You don't attack this turn. Interesting. Gorath Cub. Definitely drew one of the adults in the art that I showed earlier. Haunting Visions, and we see Pod the Innkeeper with an empty pantry. There it is, the Nightmare Construct. Again, this is very lovely art that I cannot do justice to with this camera. Just look it up. Core can play Universal cards. Yes, Universal is the other region that has special rules. Any Magi, unless they have text that says otherwise, can play Universal cards at no extra cost. Universal Magi have to pay extra cost for cards of any other region. They kind of get screwed over that way. Cost X. Nightmare Construct's starting energy is equal to your Magi's printed Energize. Effect Absorb. After a Magi energizes, add 1 energy to Nightmare Construct. If that Magi is core, add 1 extra energy to Nightmare Construct. So basically, functionally, if you are playing core, Nightmare Construct has an energize of 2, but it also energizes on your opponent's turn for 1. Oh, and we got 3 of them. Awesome. Raveled Drush. Renegade Epic. Skulk. Choose an opposing arterial creature, remove 1 energy from it, and draw 2 cards. Shadow Drite. This is the guy from the box. I considered drawing one of these for the art that I showed you, but I didn't have time because I had something else that I needed to finish. Got Shadow Furred. Furds are the birds that perch on Furrock antlers. Shroud of the Master. This character here is Morag. He is kind of a big deal in the Game Boy game. You chase him around for most of the game while he fucks everything up for you and your friends. And you do finally get to fight him. Great. Cinder's Mantle. Interesting. All Shadow Magi can play it. So this is for Lanix. Effect Omen of Fire. As one of your creature's attacks, add 2 energy to that creature before energy is removed. Effect Burnout. Discard Cinder's Mantle from play if any of your creatures are discarded from play. So it's a very powerful relic with a very short duration. No, Slinking Grill! This is the little cute skull bug guy that I was talking about. So this is also a traitor creature. Power Skulk. Choose an opposing core creature, remove 1 energy from it. That creature's controller chooses a creature they control and removes 2 energy from it. So, interesting to see that the core also has traitor cards. We got more Sneaky Weebos. We saw those earlier. Turn, classic core spell, which lets you take control of an opposing creature. Very expensive. Twilight Mowat. We saw that earlier as well. This is the core print version. These dual region cards do come in the colors of either region. The color of the card doesn't matter. It's just for decoration. And if you're a true collector, then of course you want one of each, right? Yeah, see, here's the Duresh thing, and they are identical otherwise, and they do even have the same flavor text. Oh, this one is also by Tibkey. I didn't notice before. That's the new artist that I noticed. Twisted Dreams. Got an Ebit here having nightmares. Very sad. Very sad to give the Ebit nightmares. Warada's Ring. There's Warada as the stalled out Magi-Nation lore currently has her sitting as the big bad. Effect Phenomenal Cosmic Power. At the beginning of each of your turns, choose either to draw an additional card at the end of the turn, or to have all of your core cards cost 1 less energy to play to a minimum of 1 until the end of the turn, and it's a starting card for Warada. Effect Phenomenal Cosmic Power. Flavor text Itty Bitty Gemstone. Very powerful card. When I was running a core deck on one of the digital things, the Dark Twins card, which is Warada and her brother, it's 2 Magi in 1 card. Already very strong, and then using that relic, it's just crazy combo. Literally the worst. It got banned. Spirit of the Core. So this is another series of spell cards that each region has 1. It's something that you play for free when your Magi gets defeated, and it lets you gain some benefits to give you a little bit of a head start with your next Magi. You may play this card only when your core Magi is defeated on an opponent's turn. Discard a card from your hand. When you reveal your next Magi, choose an opposing creature, gain control of the chosen creature, and restore it to its starting energy. The chosen creature becomes core instead of its original region and cannot attack that turn. May only play 1 spirit spell per Magi defeated. So most of these spirit cards show like 1 Magi is injured and then another Magi shows up and is like helping them out. And then the flavor text on the core card is, out of my way, punk. Love it. Possession. Defeat your current Magi. You may keep your current relics, creatures, and spells in play. Reveal your next Magi with a starting energy. You may get the new Magi starting cards as normal. That Magi becomes a Shadow Magi of their original region. Pretty cool. I'm trying to see who this is in the art. It's an Arterial Magi. Tell from the wings, but they've also got crab legs. Not sure, so it could be an Orothi Magi too. Oh my god. I need to look something up. I need to look something up. Because I think I know what this is. Yeah! That's funny. Okay, so in the Game Boy game, there were a number of creatures in it that did not originate in the card game. They were mostly core creatures, although there were a couple of others as well. Some of those other creatures did show up in the card game later, so it was sort of like a preview thing, but some of them were just like original creations to pad out the core, because you spend the whole game fighting core monsters because they're the enemies. And this is one of them, Jing-Jack. It's like a jack-in-the-box enemy. Let me see what this does. Effect Spring Out. As your Magi is attacked directly, you may play Jing-Jack from your hand, paying all costs. Jing-Jack replaces your Magi in the attack. Effect Spring Back. If Jing-Jack is defeated in an attack, it becomes a relic instead of being discarded. Power Spring Forth. Add 3 energy to Jing-Jack. If Jing-Jack is a relic, it becomes a creature. At the end of the turn, discard Jing-Jack from play. That's pretty cool. All around the tuckberry bush, the Gorath chased the Ebit. And that's a good reference. And good art, too. Love that. How are we doing on time? Bad. Got it. Trying to pick up the pace a bit. What do we got? Universal. Okay. With no lands to call their own, Universal Magi walk the loneliest path in the Moonlands. But the hardship builds character and breeds resourcefulness. Specialization fosters attachment and results in rigid tactics. The versatility granted by Ancient Artifice will spell your victory. I wonder who the Magi are for this deck. Do they have 3 Universal Magi that they reprinted? Maybe we'll get to see a League Elder or something? A lot of this information was available, was made available during the Kickstarter, but I purposely ignored or forgot a lot of it because I wanted to be surprised when I got to do my unboxing. Get out of here. The card box is getting full, but that's because I'm putting the cards in their deck boxes. Oh, they did! We got him! Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Jones. The reprint of Tony Jones, main character of the Game Boy game. Butchered twice. They made a Game Boy Advance updated remake of the Game Boy game, but it was Japan only. They corrected a lot of the dream creatures I mentioned that weren't part of the original card game. They replaced the original creatures with real ones, although, haha, Jing-Jack, canon now, bitch. Go live in a cave, Tony. That's how he goes to the Moonlands! So, in that Game Boy game that was Japan exclusive, they replaced Tony Jones with Dan something or other, not the Street Fighter character. I want to say the Street Fighter character, but not him. And he's, instead of like a snarky American kid, he is an exuberant Japanese protagonist Very obnoxious and loudmouthed. Likes to fight, all that stuff. He's Goku. Goku with slightly different hair. And then in the animated series, they took away his blonde hair. Criminal, I tell you. But he's back! He's back, baby! Low starting energy, pretty average energize. Can start with any one creature, which is great. And also a Furrock. That's a reference because it's the first creature you get in the game. Effect, Animite Affinity, non-universal creatures Tony plays cost 1 less energy to a minimum of 1. Power, Favors, cost 2. Play a relic from your hand, paying all costs and ignoring regional restrictions. Normally you can't play relics from other regions, but Tony can do it all. This is a good time to bust out surprise number 2. I have scissors. Do I want to risk cutting this open? Like I'm gonna do it otherwise. Come on. Cut, damn you, cut. I use these scissors for tape. They are not cutting anymore. Alright, the tape comes off easy enough. No big deal. Here we've got Tony Jones. And here we have Tony Returned. I got myself one special promo card. And I had to get myself Tony Returned. This is adult Tony Jones in a cool isekai long coat with a staff and a magic gauntlet. His base energy and his energize have both gone up by 1. His starting cards, 2 creatures of different regions, and again, Furrock. Special effects. Tony Returned may be in a Magi stack with Tony Jones. If Tony Jones is among your defeated Magi, when you reveal Tony Returned, add 3 energy to him. So again, this is a special case where an alternate card can be played alongside its base version. Does he have a gun? I don't see a gun. He doesn't need one. He's got 2 creatures of different regions. Any 2. Effect, Animite Affinity. Same as before. Can play creatures as though he were a mad... Oh, it's better! The original effect, non-universal creatures Tony plays cost 1 less energy, so it removes the extra cost. This version of Animite Affinity removes the extra cost, and he plays it as though he were a Magi of any region, which means any other effect that only occurs if you're a Magi of a specific region procs, because Tony can play most things, but he still can't play core creatures. Tony Returned can play core creatures, and that's something that you only get at the end of the Game Boy game if you follow like special secrets to unlock core creatures. That's cool. Power, Rediscover. Play a relic from any discard pile, paying all costs, ignoring regional restrictions. Okay. So you have to discard your relics and then discover them again, which is how you get them in the Game Boy game. That's pretty cool. Quote, even after 20 years, the Moonlands are just how I remember. Awesome. Awesome! I do already have a Tony Jones card. It's a special one that came with the Game Boy game, as you might expect. Get in there. My special boy. My son. Tony Jones is all of us. Literally the player avatar. Any Spirit of X can work when Tony... Well, he only counts as being a Magi of Region X when he's playing creatures. So we wouldn't be able to play the spells. Who else do we got here? Rage with new art? Oh, hell yeah. Rage may play non-universal creatures ignoring regional penalties, not restrictions. Effect Intimidation. Opposing spells and powers remove 2 less energy from your creatures. A Marani once bit Rage on the leg. After 5 days of excruciating pain, the Marani died. So Rage is also special within the lore. After Tony does his thing, defeats Agram, Rage is just been living alone on an island. Senses, oh, Agram's been defeated. According to prophecy, everything's going to go to shit. Guess I'll build a boat and go save the world. And he just shows up, starts summoning robots and kicking ass. He's cool. And we've got Tuku. He was mentioned in the monkey card. Power Restrain. Until the end of your next turn, Magi cannot play any non-universal relics or spells. You cannot use Restrain on your next turn. Just holds them down. And Rage starts with Rage's Belt. That is a bullshit item that is so frequently banned. This is a denial deck. We got more Hapus. Crushing Will. Choose a creature, remove 4 energy from it. If this discards the creature from play, choose up to 2 non-universal relics, discard them from play. Awesome. It takes a willful man to stand alone in the Moonlands with no allegiances but himself. This is no Magi in particular, but they look pretty cool, and this creature is called a Porcuslime. It's from the underneath. Colosset again. I feel like we're getting a lot of cards here that were already present in other decks. Ancient's Puzzle Box. Your deck may contain up to 6 copies of Ancient Puzzle Box. Power Mind Games. Costs 1. Discard Ancient's Puzzle Box from play. Reveal any number of cards from your hand. Choose a creature. Add 1 energy to it. For each Ancient's Puzzle Box you reveal, draw a card. Damn. Oh, and sure enough. Oh, only 5 copies? Should have had 6. Yoon's Scale. Effect Balance. At the end of your turn, each player shuffles all but 10 cards from their hands into their deck. Player has 10 cards or less, player shuffles no cards into their deck. So that's just to deal with the fact that there is usually no hand limit, but this imposes one. More Wandering Ballaments. Non-Naru Magi may play Wandering Ballament without a regional penalty, so this is leaning into the universal theme, even though it's not a universal creature. Omni-Construct, you're new. And sci-fi. And with new artist. Power Enhance costs 2. Choose a creature type. Add 1 energy to Omni-Construct for each creature of that type in play. I mean, obviously, you just play a fuckload of constructs. Rage's Construct. Hell yeah. Oh, we already saw one of these. This is different art. Did the other one have different art? I may be going crazy. I'm looking at a lot of trading cards here. Rage's Belt. Fucking bullshit item. Power Lockdown. Name any one power or effect on a card in play. Until the end of your next turn, no player may use the named power or effect while Rage's Belt is in play. This was so overused when I was playing on a digital tabletop. Everybody had them in their deck. and most of the time you would use them to lock down, just to stop your opponent from using the fucking thing. Whoever played one first would get to lock down the enemy at least once, and then after that, your opponent would bring out theirs, and then, alright, the belts have canceled each other out, we can move on with the game. Although, it was clarified that lockdown cannot lock down any effect or power that does not have a name. Like, Rage here has text that isn't an effect or a power, for example. And I don't have any examples off the top of my head, but... Warrior's Boots, get out free creatures. Furrock, gotta have Furrock. Original art Furrock. Rage's Shield, affect leadership. Each time you draw a card, choose one of your creatures in play. Add 1 energy to the chosen creature. You cannot choose a creature once per turn with leadership. Dream Channel. Dream Bomb again. I got a few of those in this deck. Nightmare Channel. Rage's Band. So, as I said, the Rage art here is new, but most of the Rage items are just crops of his original art. I have more. Rage's Boots. So these are from the same art. Colossus. The OG. This is also from the base set. It's the only universal creature in the base set. Its effect is anti-magic. Colossus may not be discarded from play while it has energy. Your spells, powers, and effects may not alter the amount of energy on Colossus or prevent Colossus from losing energy. Quote, you can fight a war with cloaks and daggers, but you don't have to. You can just summon a big old robot. Beam of Light, choose up to 2 relic spells and or creatures in play. With 2 or less energy, discard the chosen cards from play. Oh, I love this one. No. You may play no as an opponent plays a spell that discards one of your creatures. While it has energy, your creature is not discarded from play. It's just an interrupt. Kind of expensive, though. And this is a new card, I'm pretty sure. Wanderlust. Cost X plus 1. X is equal to the number of players in this game. Choose a creature in play, add 1 energy to the chosen creature for each region among cards in play. You learn a lot about life visiting other regions. It's invigorating. Cool. There's a full universal deck with only a few other creatures. And I got myself another copy of Tony Jones. I didn't know they were bringing back OG Tony. I knew I was getting Tony Returned. What other creature type would work with Omni Construct? Well, you could use it in a Hiron deck. Core again. It's the same lore text, so I don't need to read it. There was a Weave Magi who specialized in Hirons. And I tried to make a Hiron deck with him once, but I was never very good at putting together Weave decks. They're just... the way all the cards are meant to, like, work together was a little bit advanced for me. Weave and Duresh, I feel, are both advanced regions that I, at the time, had trouble wrapping my head around. Alright, who do we got? Lanix Reaper. This isn't the same deck again, is it? Is this why I have 3 core decks? Thought maybe they just had a lot of extra core cards. I got another Jing Jack, so that's worth it. That's a bit of a bummer. So am I also just going to get a whole bunch of extra underneath cards then? I guess. Although, on the bright side, I could give these away to my friends. Except I do want all of the Jing Jacks, so maybe not. Although that makes me wonder, I was thinking that there were two different decks for each region, but if there's only one, well, on the bright side, I won't be here nearly as long as I thought I would. Underneath, some cool Hyron art here. These tunnels thunder with the might of trembling stone. Shake your foe's confidence with guerrilla tactics and leave them quaking in the darkness. Cave-ins, bottomless pits, and burrowing beasts are the least of their concerns if they want to rumble with you. This is fun. Region lore. Yeah, so underneath is Macadamia's region from the bonus panel art. And their whole shtick is similar to Kaibar's teeth. They're tough, but in different ways. They have burrow effects, which mean that no matter what happens, a creature can only lose 2 energy per turn. Ulmi. Crystal Affinity. Crystal cards cost you 1 less energy to play. So any card with crystal in its name. Effect resist. Your crystal creatures lose 1 less energy when attacked. Gulg. Power Fortify. Add 2 energy to each creature you control that defeated a creature in an attack this turn. And we've got Ulk. Prodigy. Effect resistance. Korrets you control may not be chosen by opposing powers. Effect Fungal Bloom. After you play a Korret, add 1 energy to it. So another type deck. Kiesel's Hammer. Just another big-ass hammer. There's a few of them. There's like at least 3 big-ass hammers. Rumblestones. Remove 1 energy from each non-underneath creature in Magi. That's fun. Crystal Shield, so this is one for Ulmi to use. Venomous Korret, this is another traitor. Power Skulk. Choose an opposing underneath creature, remove 1 energy from it. That creature gains effect Weaken. As this creature is attacked, remove 2 energy from it. Ugly little bastard, too. Crystal Twinklet. Cute little crystal firefly. Crystal Saurus. Is this one new? Saurus. No, not new. A lot of underneath creatures just look new to me because they don't have black outlines like so many others, like most of the other character and creature art, to give them the effect of translucent crystal. Named after a, we'll say, World for Gold character, though. Crystal Hyron. Power Illuminate. Choose a spell in play and discard it. This is for, like, attached spells. Effect Ricochet. Once per turn, as Crystal Hyron is attacked, remove 1 energy from each opposing crystal. Andy? Pillar Hyron. Underneath had some good looking Hyrons. If your Magi is underneath, Pillar Hyren may not be discarded from play by opposing spells, powers, or effects while it has energy. Your powers, spells, and effects cannot reduce the amount of energy removed from Pillar Hyren in attacks. Effects stabilize. As one of your creatures is attacked, add 1 energy to it. Literally a pillar of strength. Strag's Claws. Peanut has claws like these. Not the exact same ones, but similar. Effect Offense. Whenever one of your creatures attacks an opposing creature, add 1 energy to it before energy is removed. Crystal Gile. Giles are another very common creature type. Most regions have at least one. And Vanilla Gile is native to Bograth, and there is a Bograth Magi who specializes in playing Giles. I ran a Gile deck for a long time. Because one type of Gile, Forest Gile, lets you add energy to every Gile that has attacked on that turn, and the Magi adds energy to all of the Giles as a power, and the Vanilla Gile grants all Giles an energize rate, so that's just a ton of free energy for every kitty cat you have in play. Crystal Arball, another base set card. The art is a little more primitive, but still nice. You still get the effect. Arballs are Geodudes. They're Geodudes. Head with hands. Pack Coret. Some creatures are more than one creature. Oh, Power Morale. Add 1 energy to each other Coret in play. So, similar to the Giles I was talking about, this is how you just get all of your same type creatures big the course of many turns. Spore Vasp. A Vasp is a cloud cobra, and this one is a cloud of mushroom spores. Pretty cool. Is this a new one? I don't think it is, but... Vasp. No, Spore Vasp isn't new. I do like the flavor text on this one. It's a dream with a surprise ending like mine. Quoted from Ogar. Ogar is another core Shadow Magi that you fight in the Game Boy game, but after the events of the Game Boy game, she gets turned back by some of her old friends. And she goes back to being an underneath Magi. Amulet of Ombor. I think that's new art. Ombor. Yep, that's new art. The old art is very rough, let's say. Entrench. So this is another way to buff one of your creatures. Add 2 energy to your creature as it is attacked. It's a little bit better than being burrowed, but you can be burrowed and entrenched, so... Crystal Goblet. Is that new art? No, that's the original art. Starting to realize that I haven't memorized every single Magi-Nation card. Hey, the Vanilla Coret. Their special thing is Pack Hunt. Instead of its normal attack, Coret can attack with one of your other creatures. Both Coret and the attacking creature remove energy from the defending creature, but Coret loses no energy in the attack. So basically, Corets just designate themselves a bodyguard. And we got Crushing Fungus. If this discards the chosen creature from play, its Magi does not energize on the next turn. That's brutal. Well, if There is only one deck for each region, and I'm almost done. Still got a few to go, though. Called. That's, I want to say Volcano Hyron. Could be Ember Hyron. Not certain. Forge victory in the fires of Called. Ignite your passions and lend that vigor to fire-hardened dream creatures. Then lock shields with your fellow Magi warriors and incinerate your foes. So long as your heart burns bright, you will never want for energy. Called has direct damage, spells, and powers. It is extremely possible to build a Called deck with no creatures in it. They are, I think, the only region that you can effectively do that with. I mean, keyword effectively. Get off of my frickin' goddamn static cling on these little pieces of plastic wrap. I swear to God. I am going to shit. Every single one is an ordeal to get into the goddamn garbage can. I have run a creatureless Called deck before. It did better than I thought it would. I thought it was just a gimmick, but no, it's legit. Jory. Effect Heat Wave. Once per turn, after a Called spell discards an opposing creature from play, remove 2 energy from that creature's Magi. So there's some more free direct damage. Zandia. Burning Desire. Discard a Called creature from your hand. Choose an opposing creature. Remove energy from it equal to the starting energy of the creature you discarded. This energy loss may not be modified. Cinder Apprentice. So, you heard me talking about Rage, the universal Magi who was important to the story. Cinder ended up apprenticing to him. This, I believe, was the result of a tournament where somebody, like, won with Cinder or something like that. A whole bunch of events in the Magi-Nation storyline are a result of tournaments. As a result, a whole lot of important major events occur in Ardirial, or are done by Ardirial Magi, because that region was just overpowered for a long time. They have a lot of card draw. Universal spells cost Cinder Apprentice 1 less energy to play. They already don't cost extra, so that's just cheaper universal cards. Effect Backlash. Once per turn when Cinder Apprentice is attacked, remove energy in the attack as though he were a creature. Pretty cool. That is a reference to Rage, who himself is, shocking twist, a dream creature. Disc of Inferno. Burn, baby, burn. Molten Gauntlets. Creatures gain 1 less energy from effects. Singed Pride. Attached to an opposing Magi, after that Magi's owner draws a card outside of the draw step, discard Singed Pride to remove 3 energy from the Magi. So it's 3 damage for a cost of 1, while also discouraging your opponent from getting extra card draw. Spark costs 1. Choose an opposing creature, remove 3 energy from it. That creature's controller may choose a creature or Magi controlled by any player and remove 1 energy from it. Particularly useful in a game with more than one opponent, because you can have any number of players in a Magi-Nation game, although I wouldn't recommend more than like 4. In a 2-player game, of course, your opponent's just going to choose, well, I took 3 damage, now you take 1. But if there's 3 or more players, then they may be like, I think maybe I want to deal some damage to this other guy instead. Got Lava Blast, cost 2. Each of your opponents choose a creature they control, if any. Remove 3 energy from each chosen creature. Energy loss may not be modified by power spells or effects. So again, making opponents choose how they get hurt. Flame Jackla, it's like a little fire guy with sort of a tiki-inspired mask. Cinder Hyren. I was wrong on both attempts at naming the thing. Dream Pyre. Shuffle up to 5 called creatures from your discard pile into your deck and choose a creature. Remove energy from that creature equal to the number of creatures you shuffled into your deck. So again, direct energy discard while also helping to cycle your discard. Oh. Jackla Prowler. So this one is like a lion or something with a fire mane and 3 masks. Pretty cool. Oh, and this is the traitor. Choose an opposing called creature, remove 1 energy from it, and remove 1 energy from its controller's Magi for each spell in their discard pile. Caldera Auk. It's like a lava snake. Giant Kelthet. This is new. Kelthet is like sort of a lava knight sort of thing. The base Kelthet has like 4 legs, and this one instead has tank treads. Power Flame Bath costs 6. A 7 energy creature. Remove 3 energy from each non-called creature and Magi. Your powers, spells, and effects may not increase the amount of energy removed by Flame Bath. A lot of cards in here that they don't let you increase the damage. Is that a tank? Yeah, basically. It's a tank with arms. When Lanix suggested a hot bath to Grega, he got much more than he bargained for. Are you hitting on Grega? You should know better. All of the lore cards about Grega mention that if you piss her off, she'll set you on fire. Gorgle's Glasses. This is Grega, this character. Effect Pyrovision whenever you remove all of an opposing creature's energy with a spell or power, draw 1 card. Urgar. I don't remember, but I think this is one of the creatures that debuted in the Game Boy game, although I think they changed the name. I think it was called a Graw in the Game Boy game, and in the card game it was called I could be remembering that wrong. And now we have a Krog. It is a 3 or 4-headed lava monster. Blast Gloves. Flame Boost. Whenever any player plays a spell that removes energy from a single creature, you discard Blast Gloves from play. If you do, that spell removes twice as much energy. That's pretty big. But a giant R-Ball. I think Naroom and Called have more R-Balls than any other region. I'm pretty sure every region does have an R-Ball. Fireball. Costs 2, removes 2 energy. Simple and straightforward. Heat Spear. I think this is also new. Pretty familiar with called cards, so... Power Jab. Discard Heat Spear from play, choose an opposing creature, remove all but 1 energy from the chosen creature. You may not use this power the turn you play Heat Spear. That's why I like you Calders. You're always prepared for some intense negotiation. Charg. Effect Scattershot. Whenever Charg attacks a creature before energy is removed, remove 1 energy from each of the defending Magi's creatures. Remove an additional energy from each of their Avothi creatures. That, again, is tying into the story. There was a big war between Called and Avothi because Bria, the Magi that can play core relics, stole an important relic from Called. So they went to go get it. Magma Armor protects your Magi a little bit. Flame Plate Armor, which is alternate Magma Armor, so you can only have 1 of these in play at a time. But you can't have both of them in your deck. And also this one looks much cooler. It's very, very Metroid with those shoulders. Brushfire. This reference is called Magi going into the weave and accidentally setting a big old grass fire. Choose any 1 creature and play, remove 2 energy. Once per turn, you may play any 1 Brushfire from your discard pile as if it were your hand. So this is like the Black Stuff card from Bogwrath, where you can play that creature every turn if it's in your discard, except this is a spell. It's just, you always have a 2 damage for 2 energy spell, as long as that's in your discard. Santino Pereira, hello from Argentina. Have you ever seen the animated series? I did. If you are a fan, then you are not going to like anything I have to say about it. I watched like 5 episodes, and it was all I could stomach. If I had seen it without knowing anything about the Game Boy game or the card game, if Magi-Nation, the animated series, was the only Magi-Nation that existed or that I knew about, I would watch it and say, this is kind of cool, but it's weird and dumb that they're shoehorning educational sections into it. But because I am familiar with the OG, I think that, and also, why isn't Tony blonde? Why isn't it funny? Why isn't it funny anymore? Where's the funny? Where's the pop culture references? Come on, what are you doing? Crushing Heat. If this discards the chosen creature from play, its Magi cannot use any of their powers or effects, or any powers or effects on their relics until the start of your next turn. Also, I like the art. That is just a deflated grass creature. Very funny. And we get some Warriors boots, because why wouldn't you want some Warriors boots? Show Santino Tony cards. I'm on a freaking time limit here. The time limit is when I can't frickin' talk anymore because I'm reading out all these cards. But if you weren't here to see it, I got a reprint of the original Tony Jones card that came with the Game Boy game. This is Paradwin again. And I also got the new Tony Jones Return, the adult Tony Jones card that is a unique promo for this reprint. Well, first print. They weren't able to print Trader's Reach back in the day. That's the whole thing. Alright, get, frick. Get off. Now, let me... Okay. I don't have a third Paradwin deck, so if this is the same as the one I already got, then I know that I don't need to reopen any of these other repeat region decks. I knew they were reprinting a bunch of cards, so I thought maybe there was like a Trader's Reach deck plus a reprint deck. Yeah, that's the same. Or at least I got 2 Squicks. One that I can put in a sleeve to use in the game, and one that I can put on a little stand by my bedside to gaze at as I descend into slumber. Nothing new here, I don't think. Check through just to be thorough. Got a lot of Warriors boots from these decks. What getting all of these cards does guarantee, as I recall, is that you get 3 of every creature relic spell. Not 3 of every Magi, but you don't need 3 of any Magi. So, got 2 decks left. that I have not opened. So although I do still have a whole bunch of decks left to go technically, uh, since they are all repeats, I'm just going to open these last two, and then I will move on to the final surprise. Kaibar's Teeth or Ardirial. Let's do Kaibar's Teeth first. Control the high ground in Kaibar's Teeth. Call on the might of giants, and our dream creatures will answer with roars like crumbling mountainsides. Don't just throw your weight around, toss your enemies and let gravity do the rest. It's fun. Kaibar's Teeth is interesting because there's a ton of effects that benefit you for having the biggest creature in play, or that benefit specifically your biggest creature. But then they also have effects that impede an opponent based on how big their biggest creature is. Alright. Roll the Fallen. Power Desperate. Choose a creature until the beginning of your next turn. After that creature removes energy from an opposing creature in an attack, add energy to Roll the Fallen equal to the energy removed from the opposing creature. So that's interesting because if you've got a strong creature, then you can benefit from that power. Or if your opponent has a strong creature, then potentially you can use this to get some of your energy back after they kill your critter. Effect Betrayed. Your creatures lose 1 extra energy in attack with core creatures. So this is in reference to the fact of Warada gaining control of Kaibar's Fang that I mentioned. Talek. I think this guy is brand new. Catastrophe Ick? Nope, wrong again. I just have never made a Kaibar deck. Power Standing Tall. Choose one of your Kaibar's Teeth creatures. Until the beginning of your next turn, the chosen creature may not be discarded from play or returned to your hand while it has energy. Opposing players may not gain control of that creature. And Nissa. More cute Holmberg ladies. Energize 6. Strong. Effect Fearless. As one of your creatures attacks a larger creature, add 2 energy to your creature. Every creature in Orathan. Baldar. This is kind of the Kaibar's Teeth mascot critter. It's just a rock guy. Kind of cute, kind of dopey looking. Ballistic Baldar is my favorite variant. It's a Kaibar's Teeth / Ardirial creature, and it is literally just a Baldar that somebody summoned way up in the sky. And its ability is to land on top of another creature. Baldar Amulet. Affinity Baldars cost you 1 less energy to play to a minimum of 1. Effect Hammer. Once per turn, after one of your Baldars is discarded from play by an opposing creature or relic, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, discard the opposing card from play. Neat. Hey, I thought you said it was a gate. What's up? That's Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate reference. Great. Good job. There he is, Ballistic Baldar. Effect Fly Like a Rock. At the end of your turn, remove 5 energy from Ballistic Baldar. If Ballistic Baldar is still in play, roll a die. Choose a number of creatures in play equal to the die roll. Cannot choose a creature more than once. Remove 3 energy from each of the chosen creatures. Flavor text, it'll never fly. That's not the point. Bone Cragnock. So this is not a core creature, but it's clearly core coded. Effect Frenzy. At the beginning of your turn, if Bone Cragnock is the largest creature in play, add 2 energy to it. Effect Invulnerability. This creature loses 1 less energy in attacks. The creatures in the teeth are beginning to take on a slightly more malevolent look. Perhaps we should investigate. A lot of core creatures are just corrupted versions of other existing creatures. Some of them don't have counterparts, but then got counterparts later on. Like, the one that springs to mind is Wudge. It's a core creature, and then later on they printed a Forest Wudge, which makes the core creature the original, at least in terms of its name, but the way I choose to interpret that is that it went extinct in the wild, the Forest Wudge, but then they reappeared at some point. Darge. Effect Resistance. Core spells and powers do not affect Darge. Effect Pummel. Whenever Darge attacks a core creature, Darge loses no energy in the attack. And it's got Invulnerability. Flint Staff. Gargangnor. This is the smaller version of the monster that Kamau summons in the art that I did. The greater Gargangnor is the one that he summons. It's much bigger. Wonder if I'll find one. There's a giant Baldar, not nearly as cute. Rappletooth. Gravity, the spell. Choose a creature with more than its printed starting energy. Reduce that creature to its printed starting energy. Jagged Rocks. Add 2 energy to the smallest Kaibar's Teeth creature in play. Remove 3 energy from the largest non-Kaibar's Teeth creature in play. Moga Boots. Rock Hyron. The art is very dark, so I don't... Well, I think I can actually see it on the screen better than I can in person. That's just a big ol' Hyron that takes 2 less damage from everything. Rolling Baldar. Effect Collision. After Rolling Baldar attacks and defeats another creature, remove 3 energy from the smallest opposing creature. If there is a tie an opponent of your choice, choose the creature to be effective. Pretty fun. Stubborn Chogus, just a big old 2-headed lizard. Topple. Choose one of your Kaibar's Teeth creatures and any number of opposing creatures. Remove energy equal to your creature's energy in any combination from the chosen opposing creatures. Discard your creature from play. So, you sacrifice a big ol' creature to smash a whole bunch of little creatures by pushing it over. A lot of really fun spells. Crushing Stones. If this discards the chosen creature from play, add 1 energy to each of your Kaibar's Teeth creatures in play. Oh. That's not as interesting as some of the other ones. Top Heavy. Is this new? This looks new. I think this is new. Yeah, because I was looking for... Yeah. I could tell because this is a Trolb. I recognize the body type. That's the Bograth creatures that I was showing earlier. I was looking up all the different Trolbs because they were featuring heavily in the We'll Save World for Gold comic I made. But I ain't never seen no Mountain Trolb, so this is new. Top Heavy. Costs 4. Choose a creature in play, add 5 energy to that creature, and attach Top Heavy to it. When a creature with top heavy attached gains or loses energy, discard that creature from play. Quote, looks like moldy jelly, tastes like cardboard, and makes you sneeze. Blech. Hey, we cultivated those mushrooms ourselves. What's cardboard? That's a Tony Jones quote. My boy, Tony Jones. Or Phony Bones, as he is called by nerds. That's the inciting incident of the Magi-Nation Game Boy game, is some kids call him Phony Bones, and then tell him to go into a cave to earn his name back. And then he gets isekai'd. Mountain Troll. Effect Rolling Stone. If you control another Troll or another Kaibar's Teeth creature, you may play Mountain Troll at the beginning of your attack step, paying all costs. Effect Gathers No Moss. Mountain Troll removes additional energy when attacking equal to the number of Trollbs or Kaibar's Teeth creatures in play, whichever is greater. Trollbs are natural sprinters, very dangerous over short distances. That is a Lord of the Rings reference. Okay, last one. Last one. Let me get my... Put this back. Here. Ardirial, the Sky region. Command the fickle winds from on high. By starlight, lance, and battering storm, we know no equal in our lofty domain. Call down lightning and keep grounded foes on guard as you and your creatures ride the wind, just out of reach. Good shit. Oh, excuse me. Hiccups. I should drink water. I need that to live. Crumpling up the plastic seems to help get it off of my goddamn fingers. There we go. I've cracked the code. Finally, in the last 2 decks that I'm opening tonight. Alright, Ardirial, the most overpowered region. Ooh! Starting with, Amara. She pretty. Whoop. Smacked my microphone, sorry. Amara may play Kaibar's Teeth spells ignoring regional penalties. Gravity, I guess. Putting a yellow filter on. I guess because of the blue cards? I don't know. Effect Soothing Song. After a spell is played, choose a creature and add 1 energy to it. A true friend is the one who knows the song in your heart and sings you the song when you're torn apart. That is just a cute quote. Clin. Seer. Roll a die, reveal a number of cards from the top of your deck equal to the die roll. If you reveal any spells, choose 1 and add it to your hand, discard the remaining cards. Lasada Emissary. Effect Diplomacy. After Lasada Emissary is defeated, choose up to 1 relic, 1 spell, and 1 creature in your discard pile, and add them to your hand. Discard a card for each non-Ardirial card you added to your hand in this way. Neat. Aerial Flist. It is a bumblebee with butterfly wings and bamboo legs. Weird and cute. It's a paired win, dual region. Barreling Vehement. 1/2, choose a creature, remove 1 energy from that creature for each Vehement you control. Just punches people. Just punches people. Oh, this is Odavalis's spell from the Will Save World for Gold comic. Cataclysm. Discard all non-Magi cards from play, show your hand to all players, and discard all non-Arterial, non-core cards revealed. Opposing cards do not affect Cataclysm as it is played. Arterial Shadow Magi may play Cataclysm. Sometimes it's not enough that they lose. Awesome. Dream Thread Bracelet with more Amara art. Fluttery-ups. Cute little things. Jetstream. Play an Arterial creature with a starting energy of 3 or less from your hand, ignoring all costs. Creature cannot gain energy this turn. So this is another way of getting a creature on the field before the attack step. Lightning Braggle. It's just a 6-legged lizard. Lightning Hyren. This is more early art. Very cute. This was also an example that I specifically used for why I didn't like the animated series. Just comparing even this like early art from the card game just had so much more character, I think, than the one from the show. Like the Magi-Nation art, you know it's from Magi-Nation, and most of the creatures from the show, with very few exceptions, they just look like they're from anything. Ooh, the Monarch Hyren. 2-headed Hyren. Power Command. Add 1 energy to each of your Hyren in play. Power Demand. Search your deck for any one Hyren, show it to your opponent, and add the chosen card to your hand. Shuffle your deck. A very key card to any Hyren-based deck. I wonder if we've got a baby Hyren in here. Rainbow Hyren, the one from the box. This is an example of Arterial decks winning tournaments and Arterial getting even more special cards as a result. It's like the lowest energy Hyren, I think. Effect Shining Light. Powers on your Hyren cost 1 less energy to use to a minimum of 1. Effect Gift. If your Magi is Arterial, your Universal Hyren costs 1 less energy to play to a minimum of 1. So I think the idea was that any region could have gotten the Rainbow Hyren, but because an Arterial deck won a tournament, they're the ones who got it. So it ended up being drawn as like a cloudy Hyren, but it could have been a mucky Hyren or a rock Hyren or anything else. Renegade Epic, we already saw that one. Robe of the Ages, your spells cost 1 less energy to play. Sandstorm Orsha, saw one of those. Shock Ring, after one of your Arterial spells or powers removes energy from 1 or more opposing creatures, choose a creature you control, add 1 energy to it. Arterial can also kind of just do anything. Shooting Star, choose any one Arterial creature and play, add 2 energy. So this is 1 cost for 2 energy. Like, the downside, quote-unquote, is that it only works on Arterial creatures, but, like, so often you're just going to have a mono-type deck, right? Starlight's Genesis. Did I miss one? Just another Shooting Star. Discard a card from your hand and draw a card. If you played a copy of Sunbeam's End this turn, you may remove 3 energy from your Magi to draw 2 extra cards. This is literally just discard a card, draw a card, and it doesn't cost anything to play. And it's got a bonus effect if you set it up right. Sunbeam's End. Choose a creature and add 1 energy to it. If you played a copy of Starlight's Genesis this turn, you may remove 2 extra energy from your Magi to add 2 extra energy to that creature. So again, 1 energy for free or 3 energy for 2. Tempest Hyren. I feel like that's at least got to be new art. Tempest. Nope. But this was a limited promo card, so neat to get a copy of it. Effect Lightning Storm. Tempest Hyren attacks. You may play 1 Arterial spell from your hand. All energy costs for the chosen spell are paid for by Tempest Hyren instead of your Magi. Reduce the energy cost of the spell by 2 to a minimum of 1. Well, it's just cheap spells. We got a Thunder Hyren. Trade wins, discard 1 card, draw 3 cards. Volt Shield. Some Warrior's Boots to fill things out. Shockwave. Costs 5. Discards any creature. So it's like the lesser version of Cataclysm. There's the Staff of Hyren. Whenever you play a Hyren, add 1 additional energy to it. Oh my god. Caboodle Kit? You sound fake. This is definitely a new card. This looks like somebody's persona. Probably is. It's probably a fucking Kickstarter reward. Effect Celestial Memory. When you play Caboodle Kit, you may place a spell with an energy cost of 1 or less from your discard pile into your hand. Effect Curious. Whenever you play a spell with an energy cost of 1 or less, add 1 energy to Caboodle Kit. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this kit. Whoever's persona that is, congratulations. Thanks for funding this. It's really cool that we got all these cards printed at long last. All right. That is every Trader's Reach card in the print. Keep wanting to say reprint, but it's not, is it? It's the first print. Was this deck strong, or was it just strong against your called decks? Leftovers from the Kickstarter printer here. Yep, Arcanist Armory, if you want to get some of these cards, go for it. There's a whole bunch of promo cards that I didn't get. I only got my boy Tony. Because him and me, we go way back. Also, that's just very good art. I even like the background of it. All the art that we have that is just like landscapes, usually in the background of other cards. It's always so pretty. Like, you get to see all these weird, fanciful tree houses, or like mushroom skyscrapers, or like some of the OG art of the capital cities of some of the different regions is wild. Like Ardirial, it's the sky region, so their city is in the sky. And you would expect, okay, so maybe it's just a bunch of buildings on a bunch of clouds, or maybe they've got like propellers holding them up. Like the whole city has wings. It's crazy. And then the city in Called, I don't remember the name of it. These cities all have names. I don't remember them all. The Called city just has these giant metal spheres, like golf ball looking things. They got holes in them with light shining out. And like, what the hell is that even supposed to be? I don't know. It's just creative as hell. I don't need this anymore. All right. Gonna turn this freaking light off before it burns out. When I turned this desk lamp on, it already looked like it was auditioning to be in a horror movie. I'd be surprised if I can ever turn it on again. I promised you 3 surprises. I've shown you 2. One is on screen right now. That Tony Jones card was the second one. And now I got a number 3. On the theme of card games. Card games are serious business. A tabletop game about cards. Cards not included. Romani says, oh, I think you missed a couple of syllables. This took me a lot of tries. And eventually I had to say, it's good enough. Because I wanted to get this thing done for today. But, it gets the joke across. That's the important thing. It's all about the joke, all about the visual gag. Card games are serious business. I know that I'm supposed to be working on Power Fantasy, and I am, but inspiration struck like a boulder falling from the sky. You can blame my D&D group, specifically Fatriarch, who played Little Nightmares 3 with me on stream. They, as a joke, ran a card game in D&D as like the final battle of our mini campaign that they were running. And I had so much fun during that that I turned it into a whole ass game all on its own. The gist of card games are serious business is that it simulates a card game specifically of the sort that that you would find in a card game anime, Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically, let's be real. In the sense that it's just about, futzing about for a couple of turns, bantering with your opponent, and then drawing the exact card that you need that wins you the game. There's a whole bunch of different card abilities. You roll dice to figure out what kinds of cards that you draw on your turn, then you pick abilities from the list based on what level of card you've got, and you can play resources to give yourself access to better cards in subsequent turns. But really, it's all about coming up with goofy-ass names for goofy-ass cards. Does it have dragons? That's up to you. Cards not included, as it said on the cover illustration. You don't really use cards whatsoever in playing it. I tried to come up with mechanics that used an actual deck of playing cards, and I didn't like any of them as much as just rolling dice for the random element. It's really about just making up funny shit and optionally drawing funny shit in order to make your friends laugh. Aimed primarily at people who are fans of Season 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! Before they we're playing by the rules, or fans of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series in particular. Is cheating encouraged? It's not encouraged, but there are rules for it. It also includes a short story, a short adventure, to get your group started. Oh, and an important core element of the game is that instead of having combat encounters like you would in D&D, you have duels, card games, in which one player takes the role of the duelist, drawing and playing cards, and all of the other players take on the role of avatars. In other words, their characters literally transform into playing cards so that you can put them on the board and have them fight for you. And if you're an avatar player, then you control your own avatar. The duelist player doesn't get to tell you what to do. This is a short, rules-light game. And it is on sale now on my Ko-fi page. Paste. There you go. It's a really goofy party game. I am charging for it, but it's pretty cheap. I'm sure it's in Canadian fucking dollars, so 8 Canadian dollars, that's what? Fucking 50 American cents right now? Just bullshit, but I don't want to get into it. Yes, I did manage to playtest it for about 40 minutes, and it was a very fun 40 minutes. Everybody said that it was great, that they want to play more. It's just about being goofy with your friends, and if you enjoy card games, or if you enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh!, or if you enjoy making up stupid shit, then I think you will enjoy this TTRPG. That's it, y'all. Thanks for coming to the Magi-Nation stream. It was a long one. I am going to be re-uploading this to YouTube, so if you missed it, you have a week to watch it on Twitch anyway. And after that time, you will be able to watch it on YouTube as well, to go along with the stream from almost a year ago now, where I show off a bunch of the Magi-Nation cards that I already had. Yeah, I hope you had fun. We are back with regular Dungeon Eyes updates starting this week. Intermission 16. And I'm going to get back to work on Power Fantasy, and I'm going to go rest my voice. I read out too much card text. Thanks again for hanging out. Thanks for everybody who helped me buy this giant crate of Magi-Nation cards. Thank you to everybody who donated 2 Pixels for Palestine 2 weeks ago. And I will see y'all next time. Later.